Good afternoon and welcome to today's proceedings of the Senate, this being Tuesday, October 16th, 2018. This is the second session of the 12th Parliament this afternoon. It is a historic sitting because the Senator-elect for Migori County, Senator Ochilo Ayako, will be taking an administration of oath today. That particular exercise will be the first business of the House after the prayer, and thereafter there will be 3 petitions which will be presented before the Senate this afternoon, and one of those will be by the Speaker of the Senate, and the petition is by evictees from Marmanet Forest in Laikipia County concerning their compensation and resettlement. The other petition will be presented by Senator Dr. Isaac Maura. He will be presenting 2 petitions. One is a petition to the Senate on the proposed issuance of banknotes and coins that visually impaired and blind can use, and a petition to the Senate concerning clearances required by public bodies and public service boards on application for jobs in Kenya. As well, there will be statements. Nominated Senator Sylvia Kasanga will make a statement regarding the International Day of the Girl Child, and the Senator for Taita Taveta County, Senator Jonas Maruma, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources on the water projects across the 47 counties. 2 papers will be laid before the Senate this afternoon. One, the report of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on National Ethics and Corruption Survey of 2017, and the report of the Standing Committee on Energy on the Energy Bill, National Assembly Bills number 50 of 2017. The County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 28 of 2018, will be read for the first time. This particular bill has been authored by the Senator for Narok County, Senator Ledama Olekina. The principal object of this bill is to provide a framework for effective oversight over the county government by the Senate. The Senator argues that the Constitution of Kenya 2010 created a bicameral parliament to replace the existing unicameral parliament. Accordingly, the Senate was tasked with oversight over national revenue allocation to the county governments. Moreover, under the constitutional concept of devolution and the principles of public finance, and the input of the public is required in all executive decision-making processes. The bill, therefore, proposes to provide a mechanism on how oversight over the county budget can be carried out. The bill, therefore, gives effect to the constitutional provisions on oversight, public participation, and participatory democracy as enunciated in Articles 96, Article 174, Article 201 of the Constitution, respectively. The bill provides for preliminary matters, including the short title, objects of the Act, and the guiding principles that guide senatorial oversight. The bill also designates the roles of the responsible bodies and officers in the oversight and public participation processes. That bill will be read for the first time this afternoon, followed by the debate on the care and protection of older members of society, bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2018, and that particular debate is for the second reading, and thereafter it will be followed by division. The County Wards Development Equalization Fund Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2018, is also active before the Senate, and it was last debated on Thursday, 10th May 2018. Should the senators finish with the business that precedes this particular bill, Therefore, that debate will resume. The local content bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2018, is also scheduled for the second reading. If you're just joining us, these are live pictures from the Senate chambers where business of the day is set to begin in a couple of seconds, if not minutes from now. And among the businesses that this House will be undertaking this afternoon is the administration of oath for Migori Senator-elect Senator Ochilo Ayako. The Data Protection Bill, Senate Bills number 16 of 2018, is also before this House for the second reading, as well as other bills which are scheduled for debate for the second reading. Among them, the County Planning Roads, Pavements and Parking Bays Bill, Senate Bill number 18 of 2018. The County Outdoor Advertising Control Bill, Senate Bills number 19 of 2018. The Prevention of Terrorism Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2018. The Copyright Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2017. The Public-Private Partnerships Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 52 of 2017, is also before the House, and the debate for the second reading is yet to begin. The Land Value Index Laws Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 3 of 2018, is also scheduled for the second reading. This broadcast is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. The broadcast is available on Senate TV on Signet, as well as KBC Channel 1 and on YouTube. On your screen is the Deputy Speaker of the Senate, Senator Kithure Kindiki.
Tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tukusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za jamhuri hii yetu. Tukuomba utujalie tuyatende na kuyafikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amin.
Order number 1, administration of oath. George Ochilo Ayako Mbogo.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce to you and the Senate the Senator-elect for Migori County, George Ochilo Ayako Mbogo of the Orange Democratic Movement Party.
oath of affirmation for member of the Senate. I, George Ochilo Ayakombogo, having been elected a member of the Senate, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people and the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and that I'll be faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of a member of Parliament. So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you. All the senators. Very well, thank you. All the senators, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the new member to this House, Senator Ochilo Ayako, the Senator for Migori County. We welcome you and welcome you not just to this House, but also to its culture. Because we are a house that has an association with a certain culture. This is a house of reason, house of debating national issues, however emotive, soberly, and therefore you are in very good company. So I just want to, on my own behalf, on behalf of the entire Senate, welcome you and wish you all the best as you serve the people of your county. I congratulate you. I have also noted that you've been escorted from the two sides of this house, which is very refreshing, because traditionally that escort has been this way or that way. So thank you very much, and honorable members, I will give a few members, maybe one or two members, a chance to say karibu to our colleague. But once more, welcome Senator Ayako, Senator for Migori. Thank you. Very well, the level of interest is high, but this being a procedural issue, I'll only give a few members. Those who are lucky, please no more than 2 minutes. Just say karibu. Don't go on a tangent of your own. And Senator Ayako now is a member of this house, so you can engage him and and get to know much more about him and his county and his priorities in due course. I am thinking the first, since I can't see the leader of minority having done the escort, I'll give the first chance to the deputy leader of minority to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to take this earliest opportunity to congratulate my father figure, Senator Ochilo Ayako. I want to remember with a lot of nostalgia that when I was still in school, I used to see him debate the National Assembly. And I want to believe that this is not a new environment to him, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what has made me happy today is the fact that Honorable Ochilo Ayako was escorted by the leaders from both factions. This is a show of unity. This is a show of maturity in this House. And I want to believe that these will be exhibited as we go on, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a culmination of the handshake which brought together the country. And I want to believe that if we continue working in harmony like this, we shall build our country to greater prosperity. I want to challenge my colleagues from the other side to extend the same philanthropy to our side when it comes to committees. Kindly feel free to relinquish some of your slots as chairs and vice chairs so that we continue existing in a harmonious way. Otherwise, I want to ask Senator Ochilo Ayako that I am the mono here. I used to be a member of County Assembly. Now I have the pleasure to even invite you here. And I want to wish you well in your legislative agenda. And I'm sure the people of Migori have chosen the right person. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Malala, for keeping it brief. Senator Ayako is not new. He's a seasoned member of parliament. And thank you for reminding us. So I'm sure he's in a good territory, familiar territory. The Deputy Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to join my colleagues to congratulate Senator Ochilo Ayako, having won the election for Migori. Of course, Senator Ochilo is not new to me. We have sat with him in a class of Gumbaro.
Order, Senator. What did you say?
He was my classmate, Mr. Speaker, and I know he's a seasoned politician. He's up to task. He's been a member of parliament, he's been a minister, he's been a CEO of a very big institution. I know the House business is not new to him. We'll support him. And as Senator Malala has said, he's a child of handshake. So that means he's free to cross the floor if he feels like. Senator Ochilo, welcome. And I'm sure we will be able to work together and achieve your objective and also deliver on your mandates as a House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Senator Wambua, Senator for Kitui County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join you and my colleagues to welcome the Senator for Migori into the Senate. The Speaker, I want to say that when my leader, the leader of minority, read out the name of Senator Ochilo Ayako, he made it very clear that he was elected on an ODM ticket. That notwithstanding, the fact that he was escorted into the chamber by the deputy minority leader alongside the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I have admired the debates by Senator Ayako when he was in the National Assembly while I was still in school, and I'm hoping that he will bring that vigor and determination into this House. I was just reading the newspapers and I realized that when he was appointed or nominated for a position of an ambassador, he turned down the appointment and said he was ready to serve the people of Migori in whatever capacity, even as a ward representative. But now that he is in the Senate, I want to join you and my colleagues in welcoming him. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. keep it brief. Senator Ndwiga, Senator for Embu County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to join my colleagues in welcoming my brother, Honorable Chiro Ayako. Honorable Ayako is very well known to me, and I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, that this house is all the more richer with the coming of Mr. Ayako. I have served with him in the past, both as members of parliament and also in the cabinet. So he is very well known to me. And if the vigor with which I know he used to serve is the same vigor that will accompany him into this house, this house is more richer than it was before he came. So I want to welcome you, Honorable, my brother, Honorable Ayako. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Ndwiga. I'll also give now the floor to Senator Mohamed Faki, the Senator for Mombasa County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to welcome my classmate and Senator for Migori, Honorable Achilo Ayako. I met Honorable Ayako at the University of Nairobi in 1987 as undergraduates, together with Senator Kawaka, the Senator for Machakos. So I'm happy that our number is growing in this August House, and I look forward to working with Honorable Ayako in his new position as Senator for Migori. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Senator Mwaura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to congratulate the new Senator Ochilo George Mbogo Ayako on his swearing in as a senator. I met the Honorable Senator Ayako when he appointed me to serve in the first National Council for Persons with Disabilities Board way back in 2004 when I was only 22 years old. And so I'm very privileged that finally that we are going to serve together. And I believe that if the wish of the people of Migori has been heard, that you're not only going to serve them as a senator, but also as a future governor. I congratulate you.
Order, Senator Mwaura. Order. Senator Ayako, for your information, other than on this, these few remarks that your colleagues are making, you are now free to contribute to the debate when I call the next order. The next is Senator for Kisumu County, Senator Fred Outa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to join you together with my colleagues in welcoming a great man, the Senator for Migori, Mr. Ochilo Ayako. And I want to take this time also to thank the people of Migori for making the right choice to elect the Senator Ochilo Ayako with an overwhelming votes. And wherever they are, wherever they can hear me today, again I said thank you, the people of Migori. You have cemented the relationship of handshake between His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, and the People's President, Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, I said that because it is the first time that I've seen when a party that has been competing join hands. Our campaign was made easier in Migori because the Jubilee Party had joined hands with the ODM to support the candidature of Ochilo Ayako. And they said it earlier that they will not, as a party of Jubilee, will have any candidate in Migori. And with their words, they assured us, and they did so. So that's why I want to thank the President Uhuru Kenyatta that they need to continue with this handshake and building bridges so that we can unite this country together. And Honorable Ochilo Ayako, you are most welcome. This is the seat for Migori, and you will be sitting next to the seat of Kisumu, and we call ourselves the city county, and we have also another city county of Nairobi and Mombasa. And with those few remarks, we want to thank all of you who really supported us. They came with money, some came with their energy, some were praying, and therefore, Mr. Speaker, we thank them all.
Thank you. The next one is the Senator for Nairobi County, Senator Sakaja.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Allow me on behalf of the people of Nairobi City County and on my own behalf to welcome the Senator for Migori County, Ochilo Ayako, and just to let him know that having known you for a while, your mien, your disposition, your demeanor sits very well with the Senate, a house that has distinguished itself as a place for sober debate and interventions on the issues of the people. So even just your style looks like the Senate. Mr. Speaker, on top of him being escorted by both Jubilee and ODM, he is truly a product of the handshake, Mr. Speaker. I went to campaign for him at Kamagambo, in Rongo constituency, even before any other senator had started campaigning for him. And I'm glad that it shows that indeed, when His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta has said yes, His Excellency Baba said yes, yes is yes. And the people of Migori did not disappoint us. So welcome to this house. We hope to engage deep on the issues affecting your people. Your county currently is facing a lot of, it's in a peculiar circumstance. There are a lot of challenges. So are many of our counties, Nairobi and many others. I'm sure we will work hand in hand, and this house will benefit from your wealth of experience and also from the new, kind of camaraderie amongst members because of the Building Bridges project and the handshake, where we look at each other beyond just political parties, beyond tribes, beyond colors, but as Kenyans and as leaders who are here to make the lives of other Kenyans much better. Karibu sana, Senator.
Senator Jude Pareno.
Thank you, Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to really congratulate Senator Ochilo Ayako and welcome him to this house. Mr. Speaker, I always remember when we gave him the ticket, I actually wrote on my Facebook, "Welcome to the Senate," because I was sure, Mr. Speaker, that we picked the best out of the best, Mr. Speaker. I want to say that why I say the best out of the best is because if you put Senator Ochilo Ayako together with the likes of Dalmas Otieno, who was an applicant, the likes of Honorable John Pesa, who was an applicant, and we had a total of 7 applicants to our party. And out of 7, we picked who the person we thought was the best out of all of them. And that is none other than Senator Ochilo Ayako. Mr. Speaker, I have had a lot of interactions with the senator as I was running the ODM elections. And I want to say he's such a gentleman when it comes to the businesses of the party. He's such a gentleman when it comes to handling our nomination processes. He has severally come to me, not to do what the men in black would do, but he comes in to say, let us handle it in a sober way.
Order.
Let us discuss.
Order. What would the men in black do?
They harass Mr. Speaker. He has never, over the period.
And who are these men in black?
I do not know their faces,
We
Mr.
don't know
Speaker.
them.
So, Mr. Speaker,
Proceed.
I want to say that he has approached the National Election Board severally. And all the times it is, how do we make our processes better? I also want to say that I'm proud this time that this process of direct nominations, or picking the best candidates, not going through the rough way of party primaries, has been validated by this particular exercise. Actually, for us as a party, this was a test case as to how we can manage our elections in future. And I want to say that you didn't disappoint. And I thank the people of Migori, some of who are in the gallery. Thank you for giving us the best there is for Migori. May God bless you.
Thank you very much. Senator Ephraim Maina, Senator for Nyeri County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to welcome our brother, Senator Ayako. He is a seasoned man, and truly he is the right candidate for this House. And his immense experience will definitely contribute to the challenges that are facing this country through this House and in his forums, in other forums. Definitely, it's also true that the people of Migori needed a sturdy man like Senator Ayako, a man of some stability to steer them into their future. And I feel Senator Ayako has just come at the right time, and we look forward to his contributions. We look forward to his contributions to the dynamics that are going to develop in this country with the momentum being generated. He is a team builder, and definitely the handshake serves him well in this era. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Senator for Machakos, Senator Kabaka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving this opportunity to join my friends, my colleagues in this House to congratulate Senator Achilo. Like my learned friend has said from Mombasa, Achilo was my classmate in that year, and he's a man I've known for a long time. Just like the Vaticans, the Catholics say at the Vatican during the election of their Pope, at long last, the people of Migori have seen a white smoke. And we have a new Pope, or we have a new Senator. Senator Ochilo, from where you are seated.
Order, Senator Kabaka, are you saying Senator Achilo is a pope or is like a pope?
Like a pope, I say that.
Okay.
Like a pope.
Proceed.
Just a simile. I was drawing some analogy on the theology of the Catholicism.
Very well.
I'm telling my learned colleague who is a senator of Migori, the seat you are seated used to be the senator who used to sit there was a very able senator, and no wonder you are elected, and you have taken the right seat, and we thank you so much. The other bit of it is that I've had other senators contribute on some of your public duties you've been doing in this country. I need also to remind them that I think you are also a chairman of a body dealing with the nuclear energy in Kenya.
Conclude, Senator Kabaka.
So this is a man of immense experience, both within the National Assembly, both within the Parliament House and also in the public life. And the people of Migori have got the right man. Congratulations, welcome, my brother.
Senator for Nandi County, Senator Samson Cherargei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. On my behalf, on behalf of the great people of Nandi County, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Senator Achilo Ayako. I've seen the profile. He's a man of many fasts, and it's good we have him here. On behalf of Team Tanga Tanga, led by our General William Ruto, the Deputy President of this Republic, we wish you well, and we look forward to working with you. You know we are not new, Team Tanga Tanga in Migori County. We'll be engaging more and more. I know my neighbor, Senator Fred Outa, the city senator, has welcomed you. We wish you the best. I want to thank the people of Migori County also for making their choices hard. I know the campaign was not easy, but you are welcome and looking forward to engaging and ensuring that we strengthen and better devolution, and also looking forward for political partnership for 2022 to work with Deputy President. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator, this is not a campaign platform. Order. Order. You can do that over the weekend in a political rally. Order. Senators, I know every other senator wants to contribute. Unfortunately, we don't have much time. I'll only allow the minority whip to say one word, because you'll be whipping Senator Ayako. I'll give you a minute, and then the leader of minority will close for us. Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., the minority whip.
Thank you. I thought you'd give me 2 minutes. Mr. Speaker, I would like
Granted.
Thank you. To congratulate Ochilo Ayako, Senator Migori, for his election. Mr. Speaker, I was waiting for Mwangi Githiomi on 16th of April 2000. I had a distinct pleasure of appearing before a committee of Parliament, National Assembly then, chaired by Senator Mwangi Githiomi, and one of the members was Ochilo Ayako. In PIC, they gave my late father a run for his money. I hope that we can have that sort of robust interrogation of counties that the Senator Ochilo Ayako and Mwangi Githiomi were doing. But more importantly, for those of us who have been elected through a by-election, you join us in this. I'm the chairman of that school, of the ones who are elected in a by-election through, like in my case, unfortunate circumstances, together with Senator here, Aaron Cheruiyot. Welcome to the Senate. We hope that we can benefit from your experience in the National Assembly and your experience in public investment and interrogation of governors, particularly Governor Obado. Thank you.
Order, Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. I will now request the leader of minority to say the closing remarks, and then we can move to the next order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me also to congratulate Senator Ochilo Ayako, the senator for Migori. Senator Ochilo
Order.
Ayako.
Senator Malala. Order, Senator Cheruiyot. Order, Senator Charagai.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senator Ochilo Ayako, although we are saying is a product of the handshake, and truly is, and I want to appreciate the fact that my colleague, Senator Sakaja, went down to campaign for him, and also to tell the people of Migori that the party was supporting Senator Ochilo Ayako. But Senator Ochilo Ayako himself is a unifier. And if those who were there when the NAG government was being formed and the instruments that were being drawn to ensure that the unity between the leaders in 2002 after the elections bore fruits, Senator Ayako was one of the people who sat down to write the instruments that made it possible for the NAC leaders to be together. And I hope that he'll use his skills and capabilities to create a bipartisan environment within the Senate to ensure that we can do what is important for this nation. Senator Ochilo Ayako has been a member of Parliament. He has been a minister, cabinet minister, and as my colleagues have said, served in parastatal organizations. So it is an honor to have somebody with his qualification and distinction and skills to be part of us. And congratulate the people of Migori who are here. The Migori people are very unique. Once they make a decision, that decision, you can always rest assured that it will be carried through. So that if anybody had any doubts that Ochilo Ayako was in fact elected, is truly elected with a majority of the electors in Migori. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order, Senator Wako. I can see you've been struggling for the last 20 minutes to register electronically, and because I'd already directed that the leader of minority would close, I'll grant you just 2 minutes to also say a few things, and then we exit that order.
Thank you. First of all, let me thank you for your understanding. I've tried a number of times. I'm not being registered. But I really want to take this opportunity to warmly welcome one Honorable Ochilo Ayako as a Senator of Migori. I welcome him. He is an eminent lawyer. We have been together in the legal profession, and Migori has so many legal issues to tackle. I'm quite sure through his hands, he'll provide the necessary leadership to be able to go through those many legal hurdles that Migori is offering. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've also served with him in the cabinet, and in that capacity, we have seen the world. We have seen the United States.
Order, Senator, what do you mean by seeing the world?
By that I mean we have gathered a lot of experience in going around the world as cabinet ministers, and I'm quite sure that that experience which he gathered at that time will provide him in good stead as he provides the necessary leadership in the county of Migori. The county of Migori now requires such a leadership, particularly at this point in time. The Speaker, sir, I've also observed him as the chair of the nuclear board. I know as a fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, that to have been appointed to that particular board, which is very sensitive and which requires careful handling and careful management and so on, and even sailing our point abroad, he has performed very, very well. And I'm sure, Mr. Speaker, sir, that experience will provide him in good stead. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, he's a good friend. And as a good friend, he has gathered a lot from me on how to manage a few things here and there. And I've also learned from him on how to do a few things here and there. And now that he's here, we shall be able to work together for the good of devolution. Because this constitution is about devolution. And I'm quite sure with him as Senator of Migori, we shall ensure that this constitution is implemented by letter and spirit on issues touching on devolution. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Senator Amos Wako, Senator for Busia County. Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Order, Senators. Order, Senator for Nyeri. Order, Senators, I have a petition to read to the House. Pursuant to Standing Order 2261A and 230, paragraph 2B, I hereby report to the Senate that a petition has been submitted through the clerk by representatives of evictees from Marmamet Forest in Laikipia County concerning their compensation and resettlement. As you are aware, under Article 119, paragraph 1 of the Constitution, and I quote, "Every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including enacting, amending, or repealing any legislation," end of quote. The salient issues raised in the said petition are as follows. That in 1961, the then government set aside land in Marmanet Forest in Laikipia and settled the first group of settlers pending their permanent resettlement, which was to take place after independence. That following independence in 1963, the group was not resettled elsewhere and continued residing in Marmanet Forest, where they also built schools, hospitals, cattle dips, places of worship, and other social amenities. They were also frequently contracted by the government, whereby they planted trees and carried out weeding and pruning of the expansive Marmanet Forest. That the government was aware of the existence of these settlers, who numbered about 10,000, and used to set aside land where they could cultivate crops for food to sustain their families, while also helping take care of the forest. That all this changed in the year 1988 when, arising from the heated political situation at the time, the settlers were violently evicted from Marmanet Forest and have since then never been resettled. Subsequently, almost the entire Marmanet Forest was excised and the land allocated to other people who cleared the forest of its vegetation and converted it into farms, and that the evictees and their families continue to suffer greatly and live a life of abject poverty. This is compounded by the fact that the schools which were in the forest are no longer in existence, and majority of those who grew up in the forest cannot access their academic certificates. The petitioners therefore pray that the Senate investigates this matter with a view to ensuring the resettlement of the evictees from Marmanet Forest, their compensation, and also for putting in place measures to ensure their children obtain their academic certificates. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 231, I shall now allow comments, observations, or clarifications in relation to the petition. Senator John Kinyua, Senator for Laikipia.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Marmanet, kijiji cha Marmanet, hasa pale katika msitu ule, wale waliokuwa wakiishi pale walifukuzwa mwaka wa 1988. Wakati huu wanaishi katika hali ya ufukara, umaskini na hali ambayo ni ya ufukara zaidi. Na ukiangalia katika sehemu zingine, watu waliofukuzwa katika sehemu ya misitu walipewa makao. Ukienda katika msitu wa Mount Kenya, walipewa makao mahali kunaitwa Sorio. Ukitembea huko Marmanet, kuna zaidi ya watu 10,000 ambao wanaishi kwa hali ya ufukara, hakuna shule yoyote, watu wanaishi katika vijiji ambavyo havina maji, havina shule, wale watu wanaishi katika hali mbaya, Bwana Spika. Jambo ambalo ningetaka kuuliza Seneti hii ifanye ni kamati ile ambayo itakapatiwa ile jukumu hasa ya mashamba, watembee pale, kwa sababu wakiona ile hali wale ndugu zetu, wazazi wetu wanaishi pale, utajua wanaishi katika nchi ambayo si nchi hii ya Kenya, kwa sababu ni umaskini ambao umekithiri. Watu wale ni wa Kenya, na mimi katika wakati tulipokuwa tukiandika hiyo petition tukileta hapa katika Seneti, wale watu wamekuwa katika ile hali, kila wakati wanaambia serikali ambazo zimekuwa zikija, lakini hautuchukuliwi kama wa Kenya, hatupewi umuhimu unaofaa Kwa hivyo tungetaka kusema ya kwamba kamati itakayopewa hiyo jukumu ifuatilie, tujue ni kwa nini watu hao wa Laikipia wanachukuliwa si kama wananchi wa Kenya hii. Hali yao ni duni, hawana mashamba, hawana nyumba, hawana shule, hawana hospitali, wanaishi hali ya ufukara. Bwana Spika, ukiona wale watu, hata wewe mwenyewe na seneti hii inapaswa ishughulikie jambo hilo kwa dharura, na yale mapendekezo yatakayoletwa katika jumba hili na kamati hiyo ifuatiliwe kabisa, na tuweze kuwasaidia wale wa Kenya na wasaidiwe kwa hali ya haraka iwezekanavyo kabla hawajaenda kwa baba. Asante.
Thank you, Senator. Now I give Senator Kinyua a bit more time because he's the senator for Laikipia County. The other senators, I'll give you 2 minutes just to say a few things. I start with the senator for Kericho, Senator Aaron Cheruiyot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mahatma Gandhi told us that the true measure of any society is how it treats its most vulnerable. Unfortunately, it's becoming the order of the day, more so with the present administration, where such vulnerable members of society are being evicted from forests and places of disputed land ownership and dumped on the street without any due consideration to human rights and all property rights and all forms of violation. If government is owned by the people, then how can government kick out its owners? Mr. Speaker, a time has come for a committee of this House to keenly look into all this eviction business that springs right from Laikipia. We know the very infamous one that has gotten us into very heated debates into this House, the Mau issue, and so many other evictions that are being carried out by a minister who's not so keen, perhaps, on looking at finding solution, but at just appearing as if they are working. It cannot be considered that you're working as a minister when you're dumping citizens of this country by the roadside. Until you propose a proper solution, then nothing can be said to have done. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge and humbly request that the committee that will do this House needs to sanction people. Those who have approved these heinous acts needs to be brought to book. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for keeping it to 2 minutes. Senator Maina Kirinyaga of Nyeri County.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I like to support the issue that this matter should be thoroughly looked into by this House. The people of Marumanet who used to live in the forest are just a part of many that have suffered this kind of situation. Mr. Speaker, my friend here, Mr. Kenyua, mentioned that there were people settled in Solio. I want to tell him that the same people had suffered the same fate. And to settle them, it took a lot of effort to get them settled somewhere. And Mr. Speaker, there used to be a chapa system in this country, which was working successfully, where people used to go cultivate in the chamber, take care of the trees, and the whole thing worked very well. Until some time back, around 1988, 1990s. And they were all removed from the forest through some political gimmick, and they have been, most of them, living miserably. And the Marumanet people is just a very good example. And I want to say, it is high time that this House came up, we must come up with a methodology to make actually mandatory that those people must be settled, because truly they are citizens of this land. They have contributed tremendously to afforestation in this country, and we are all witnessing now how forests are depleting, Mr. Speaker. When the same people who are taking care of the forest have been cruelly moved out and left to be suffering. Therefore, Mr. Speaker,
your 2 minutes are up. Time is up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. 30 seconds.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, it is necessary that this House comes up with a decision towards the settlement of permanent people and all other people. In Nyeri, we have many people in Kiadogoro and the other places who need similar to be settled.
Thank you very much, Senator Kirinyaga. Senator Sakaja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the petitioners for coming to this House on this matter. Mr. Speaker, we need to strike a balance in this country. In as much as, and this is the same issue from Marmanet Forest to Mau Forest etc. Yes, we understand the need to conserve the environment, and that must be done, Mr. Speaker, at all costs. But even as that is being done, Mr. Speaker, this notion these days that you see projects and you see programs before you see people is the wrong way to go about things, Mr. Speaker. People must be treated with dignity, they must be treated with respect, Mr. Speaker, and as much as they must be settled out of the forest, in the same thing as with the Mau, let that be done in a dignified manner with respect to the fact that there are children there, there are old women, there are old wazes, and they must be given an alternative place to settle. Mr. Speaker, I would also like to urge the committee, even as they look at this, because I had brought here a petition on a similar issue, Kibagare slums, they needed their title. I brought an issue of Mukuru Kwanjenga today. They are still having similar issues. And also the issues of people being evicted from these buildings because of the riparian. You cannot go and evict people from a building where the person is the third buyer or the fourth buyer, somebody made money from it, yet those people who approved construction in those buildings are not being asked to pay for it. Mr. Speaker, I'll bring this substantively, especially the issue of the demolitions in Nairobi and the resettlement and compensation of those who are suffering from it. But I thank the petitioners and I hope the committee will expedite on this matter.
Thank you, Senator Sakaja. Senator Ndwiga, 2 minutes.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I happen to serve in the committee of lands. And it is shocking that we have so many petitions and so many petitions touching on a resettlement of people who are evicted from either forests or from slums or from who have occupied plots which were never theirs. Today, Mr. Speaker, in the committee, we had a harrowing story of a woman who spent 7 years in the forest fighting for the independence of this country. And last week, Mr. Speaker, this woman in Giogio was kicked out of her only plot by members of a anti-stock theft unit. This phenomenon, Mr. Speaker, and the recurrence of evictions, which is coming to this committee, points to only one thing, that we need a policy in this country to look specifically at the people, the landless, people who are landless, and specifically to settle them. And I sympathize with the people of Marmanet, and I do hope that when the petition comes to our committee, we will look at it and see what this House could do for them.
Thank you. Senator Mtula Kilonzo Jr., 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, from reading the petition, it strikes me that there appears to be a historical injustices claim in this petition, particularly on the time that it appears it was done. Mr. Speaker, two important things have happened. I've seen the committee of Chair Committee Lands, Senator Githiomi. One of the solutions to this problem is a land use planning bill, which we must pass as soon as possible. The second thing, Mr. Speaker, I want to say is this. The National Assembly passed amendments to the Lands Act, particularly Section 38, which created a framework for historical injustices. Mr. Speaker, that amendment did not come to the Senate. The amendment, and I'm glad Senator Wako is here, derogates the position of interrogation of historical injustices by the National Land Commission, because the National Land Commission can only make recommendations on historical injustices. The clause and the section in the law does not say to whom those recommendations will be forwarded. So even when the committee makes a recommendation here, they will find from my own reading that this is a historical injustice. One of the things I would like to see this committee doing is propose an amendment to the Lands Act to amend so that the Lands Act is in conformity with the Constitution. We set up the National Land Commission to be the final arbiter on historical injustices. So if you are going to make a recommendation or restitution of land, does that recommendation come to the Senate, National Assembly, or do you make a recommendation to the court? How do you enforce a recommendation? So while we appreciate that there is a historical injustice here and the land must be given, unfortunately, from my own reading of the law, our hands are tied. We will give them what I call a placebo effect. They will sleep well at night, but that order will not be enforceable. Thank you.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 232, Paragraph 1, the petition stands committed to the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare. In terms of Standing Order 232, Paragraph 2, the committee is required in not more than 60 days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of report addressed to the petitioner. Order, Senators. Order. In terms of Standing Order 2322, the committee is required in not more than 60 days from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of a report addressed to the petitioner and laid on the table of the Senate. Thank you. What is it, Senator Sakaja?
Mr. Speaker, as a chair of the Committee of Labor, I am very grateful and very excited to work on this. And I note that this is in recognition of how hard I work in my committee. However, this seems like a land issue, and I would urge that it be directed to the Committee of Lands and Environment, though we can also help them with zeal and vigor and moral support as they deal with this, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Senator Tula Kilonzo Jr.?
Mr. Speaker, in view of Standing Order number 1, I would urge you to reconsider your decision, because from my reading of the Standing Order and from the petition I've not seen any labor-related or social welfare issues. I've seen matters of land, matters of eviction, the alienation of a forest, the denial of the rights of these people insofar as land is concerned. And although Senator Sakaja and my brother wants to blow his trumpet, I think that the better committee...
Order, Senator, you know, if the trumpet is his,
yes,
he has a right to blow it.
I didn't actually criticize his blowing of his own trumpet, just saying we had it very well. Although the Senate might have recognized the enthusiasm and vigor and superiority in the way they are doing, Mr. Speaker, I think Mwangi Githiomi's committee is the best committee to deal with this issue. Either that or the Committee of Legal Affairs, where Senator Orengo and I sit. Thank you.
Is there another intervention through official channels? Other senators, you have noticed there is a reference to social amenities and the plight, which was actually even more aptly captured by the senator for that county, Senator Kenywa. But I also do appreciate that it's about ownership of land. Eventually it's about ownership of land. I would like to hear from the chairpersons of the Committee for Land and chairpersons on Labor and Social Welfare before I make further direction. What is it, Senator Abshiro?
My chair is not here. On
Who
behalf
is your chair?
Senator Githiomi.
Chair of which committee?
Lands, Environment and Natural Resources.
Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think our committee is up to the task. We do have a lot of petitions, as you know, because land issues are very emotive, but we welcome the petition and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure that the issues that have been in the petition are taken care of. But I would like to mention also that as much as these are land issues, these are also historical injustices, as the same as issues around human rights abuses, actually. Because we've seen that human rights, these evictions have actually crossed the line from just movement of people and displacements to actually infringing on the rights of the individuals. And so perhaps we would welcome maybe the legal, but that said, we welcome the petition.
Chair of the Committee for Labor and Social Welfare? Or Vice Chair?
I'm the chair of Labor and Social Welfare. I think I'd expressed myself on this. We think it will fit very well with the Committee of Lands. We can be available when called upon to lend technical expertise on the human rights issues as well as the welfare issues. But Mr. Speaker, as with any other petition that will come to this House, there is never going to be one issue that fits squarely in the, within the mandate of only one committee. And so we should lean on where the bulk of the matter is. And I've just consulted with the Senator for Laikipia, and he says his main issue is a settlement and land issue. So we'll be available at any time to support as a Committee of Labor, but kindly allow the Lands Committee to take the lead on this matter.
Very well, thank you very much. I direct that I revise my directive and direct again that the matter be placed before the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources and Environment within 60 days and to respond to the petitioner and table a report in this House. So ordered. We have one more petition and we don't have much time. It's way past 3:30. We have in the order paper 2 other petitions by the same, to be read out by Senator Maura, but on consultation with Senator Maura, I direct that the 3rd petition be deferred, and I'll allow Senator Maura to read out the 2nd petition, and we will restrict ourselves to very few comments on that so that we can move to other items on today's order paper. Senator Maura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Petition to the Senate concerning the Central Bank of Kenya to establish banknotes and coins that visually impaired and the blind persons can identify. We, the undersigned citizens of Kenya, and in particular the visually impaired persons of Kenya, draw the attention of the House to the following. That there has been an increase in the population of persons born visually impaired or blind in Kenya, according to a research conducted by the World Health Organization in the year 2016. The number have risen to about 274,000. That there has been an ending struggle to stop discrimination for persons with disabilities, among them the use of currency. Number 3, that the visually impaired and blind persons cannot be able to differentiate by way of touch or feel the currency being used in our country, Kenya. This has been a major setback to the ability to transact business freely and to live independently. That the visually impaired and blind have difficulties in accessing bank and ATMs. This has rendered them not efficient in transacting their business locally, but also subject to conning and fraud. That the national government has not formulated and implemented favorable policies that take into account the rights of the visually impaired persons and blind persons with regard to their ability to easily identify, access, and use the Kenyan currency. Therefore, your humble petitioners pray that 1, that the Central Bank of Kenya, CBK, to come up with currency that is easily identifiable by the above category of Kenyans, and 2, to print different denominations varying in size, color, texture, that are easily identifiable by the visually impaired and blind persons. 3, to formulate policies that govern printing, circulation, access and use of currency easily identifiable by visually impaired and blind persons. And 4, to establish ATMs that are friendly to the visually impaired and blind persons in Kenya. And your petitioners will ever pray. Mr. Speaker.
Order. What did you want to say?
Sorry, Mr. Speaker, pardon my voice. I just wanted to make one statement and say that this is a very timely petition, and I would really want to ask the House to favorably look at it, especially now that we are in the process of printing new currencies for use by Kenyans.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Maura. Order, senators. Before I allow one or two senators to make observations on that petition, you will note from today's order paper, we have, or you can see from the order paper that we have a number of items for division. The first one is the order number 9. Then there is order number, I think that is it. That's it. Actually, it's one item. Nevertheless, we will not proceed with division today, or this order and any other order that is due for division. The division will take place tomorrow. And therefore, I direct the majority whip and the minority whip in consultations with your respective leaders to ensure that tomorrow the House has the necessary threshold to proceed with division. Very well, thank you. So I will now allow a few comments. Senator Msuruve, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to support this motion, this petition. I want to actually commend the petitioners, and I congratulate them for this petition that they have brought to the floor of this House. And Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the issue of inclusion of persons with disabilities should be an issue that needs to be taken with a lot of seriousness, Mr. Speaker. Given the fact that we keep talking about issues of inclusion, there's need for the government to actually think inclusion, work inclusion, talk inclusion, and practice inclusion, Mr. Speaker. Most of the time we find that PWDs are excluded in very many things, Mr. Speaker. And the issue of inclusion, the essence of inclusion is ensuring that persons with disabilities are independent, Mr. Speaker. And there are instances when persons with disabilities go through many challenges that other people are not aware of. Like the issue of currency, Mr. Speaker. It needs a lot of caution because if they're not able, visually impaired persons are not able to identify even the notes, the monies and all that. If they have an aid, possibilities of not getting to know the amount of money they're withdrawing or they're transacting in, Mr. Speaker, are so high, Mr. Speaker. And even as we talk about issues of inclusion, yes, there's need for the government to intervene and see how can we include persons with disabilities, and not only visually impaired. There are also persons with disabilities, like physically, challenged people, those who are using wheelchairs, who are going through struggles, even going to their places of work, simply because they do not have aid. So there's need for the government to look for mechanisms of ensuring that all persons with disabilities, regardless of their disabilities, are helped to be important members and co-partners in development in this country, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Senator James Orengo.
The only thing, Mr. Speaker, which is not allowed in paper money according to Article 231 of the Constitution, is to have the image of any person in our paper currency. But I think that is being addressed, as Senator Mwaura has indicated. However, nearly all the countries do not have distinguishable features, what are normally called tactile markings, or braille-like dots in their paper money to enable people who are visually impaired to be able to distinguish currencies. Some countries have currencies in very different sizes, like Kenya, and some people, by folding different currencies, paper money, in different ways, can be able to distinguish. However, the world is moving very quickly. I think Canada was the first to try and have paper money that has got these features. Australia, European Union, the UK, they are moving fast on this. But Kenya being what it is, and Nairobi being what it is, I think we should be amongst the first, particularly in Africa, to have money with features, distinguishing features. And there is now technology that is available, including mobile applications, which can be able to be used to identify banknotes. So, Mr. Mwaura, thanks for bringing this petition, and the petitioners themselves should be commended. And this is the time to do it, when we are printing new versions of our paper money. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader of Minority, Senator Sakaja.
Mr. Speaker, this is an opportunity to hit two birds with one stone, and I am grateful that Senator Mwaura has brought this. As the Leader of Minority has said, our Constitution is clear that our currency should not bear the likeness of any individual, it should have any symbols. And Mr. Speaker, in this process, because the CBK is in the process of formulating the new notes, I think, Mr. Speaker, we can do some distinguishing features, so long as the Finance Committee can determine what is the cost. But also, everybody who is holding money, because there are many governors, national government officials, many thieves who have millions in their houses that are stashed. This is an opportunity to tell everybody who is holding money, because you have the new CBK rules, to bring back that money into banks and explain where they got it from. And in 1 month, if they have not brought it, that money will mean nothing. It will only be paper to be used to light firewood, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, through that, we'll be able to assist the people who are blind and visually impaired, but also we can give life to our economy. There are billions of shillings out there. We hear even people have strong rooms with a vault in their houses where they're putting this money. So I want to thank Senator Mwaura. I hope the committee will consider it, and I hope we'll have timelines, so that those who are holding public funds in their houses and in their, in their offices will have to return and explain for any amount of money above 2 million shillings in cash where this money has been and why it is in cash for, Mr. Speaker. So I support this petition very strongly.
So order, Senator Sakaja, which are the two birds? Which one is a stone?
Let me explain, Mr.
And
Speaker.
how do the two birds die?
The one stone is the change of our currency as envisioned in Article 231 of the Constitution.
The birds?
The two birds is one, the blind and visually impaired, and number two, the fight against corruption. And the person who's going to throw that stone is the Senate of the Republic of Kenya.
Very well, Senator. Senator Kilonzo Jr.
Mr. Speaker, I support this petition, and Senator Mwaura is right. And I agree with the senators who say that this is a way to mop money. The Prime Minister of India, in an attempt to mop illegal currency, did away with some notes, and some people slept in hospital. And I suspect there are a lot of Kenyans who either sleep in hospital or something else which I will not mention here because of illegal money they are keeping in their homes. The faster we do this, the better. But other than what Senator Mwaura has pointed out, we are doing lip service to the people who are physically challenged in this country, in all sectors, whether it's buildings, whether it's examinations. Mr. Speaker, even the gadgets that we have put in the Senate today, Mr. Speaker, are they compliant? Those questions. Every time we do something, we must consider the people who are physically challenged. Our offices, our rooms, the new structure even in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, it should be all-encompassing. So I support Senator Mwaura, and I think this will be directed to the Finance Committee. We will be making very drastic recommendations, Mr. Speaker, and we hope for the first time Central Bank will follow the cue of the Senate. Thank you.
Very well. We will not spend much time on this. Senator Adulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to congratulate and thank Senator Mwaura for this. I know he is a champion of PWDs. Mr. Speaker, clearly looking at what the petition is all about is discrimination against people living with disabilities. That is provided in Section 27 of Persons with Disabilities Act 2018. And as Senator Junior Mutula Kilonzo has said, it's not only in this currency. If you go to Matatu today, PWDs cannot access those Matatus. And the act is very clear. And I think it is important and it's high time the government implements the People Living with Disabilities Act. I thank you.
Leader of Majority.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support this very important petition from Senator Mwaura. And let me start by saying, Mr. Speaker, this morning at about 6 a.m., Senator Mwaura made a very passionate Facebook post, and I read it, about his experience in his former school. Mr. Speaker, over the time, because I've known Senator Mwaura since the days we were agitating for constitution and youth issues. And Mr. Speaker, if there is a person who has remained true to his calling and a true defender of persons living with disabilities, I have no doubt Senator Msuruve is doing the same and many others have done. But Senator Mwaura, the one I have known for now over 16 years, the Speaker has remained consistent in fighting for the interests and the desire to mainstream persons with disabilities, Mr. Speaker. And I think, as an example, because I saw an alert 2 days ago that the courts have cleared ways for central bank to now print new notes, new currency, and you know, that's something good. But as they sit down with their contractor, the De La Rue, the Speaker, I hope that we do not, in fact, because petition is timed to be for a long period of time. The Speaker, I hope in the interim period that, Mr. Speaker, a letter will come out of your office to the central bank, that, Mr. Speaker, or even through the committee, by once the committee is committed, in fact, this might be a better way to do it. Once the petition is committed to the relevant committee, and possibly, if you will say finance committee, the first assignment is to call the central bank governor to ask him that whether they have incorporated those features in the new currency they are going to produce. So that, Mr. Speaker, in a small way, we keep changing the world, one step at a time. And the next thing is to also require our committee, Mr. Speaker, in charge of a committee related to infrastructure, that, Mr. Speaker, all buildings, Mr. Speaker, that are not friendly to persons with disability, either they don't have lifts or they don't have those ramps, Mr. Speaker, to be used, should, Mr. Speaker, as a matter of right, be marked for demolition. And, Mr. Speaker, the owners and the developers be given a notice of maybe 30 or 60 days to comply, because that is a legal requirement now, that all the buildings must be compliant to accommodate persons with disabilities, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Wetangula. We have limited time, just 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also thank Senator Mwaura for bringing this petition. I was happy to see in the media the central bank governor publishing that the judiciary has finally decided the cases that were impeding the effecting of Article 231 of the Constitution in terms of currency. I agree that we need to be having currency that is user-friendly even to persons with disabilities, especially those who are not able to see because they get cheated here and there. Equally important, Mr. Speaker, is the central bank to print banknotes that have got a longer lifespan. The current banknotes we have, Mr. Speaker, especially the high-velocity currencies for traders, 50 shillings, the lifespan of a 50 shilling note, Mr. Speaker, in areas where there is very high circulation is hardly a week. And this is very expensive for the country because it means you have to keep on printing more and more money. In Australia, Mr. Speaker, they have brought new currency, which even if you inadvertently left your banknote in your clothing as it goes to the laundry, it will withstand the heat of the laundry and come out as good as it was when the clothes were taken to the laundry. We need to have currency of that nature. Also, Mr. Speaker, I think our banknotes are a bit too large. They should also find a way of looking at denominations from elsewhere. You look at the dollar bill, whether it's $100 or it's $1, they're all the same size and they're reasonable size. So the central bank should look at all these innovations, but more importantly, our protection of persons with disabilities so that they are not taken advantage of. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, we have enough law in this country to protect, defend, and give comfort to persons with disabilities. What is lacking is enforcement. And what we want to urge the government is to strictly enforce these rules, whether it's in the transport sector, in the building sector, wherever, so that they can also be able to live the full life that Kenyans are entitled to under our new constitution.
Senator Maina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the petition. There is no doubt it's long overdue that this country should, in whatever new ventures we are getting into, new buildings and everything, cater for our disadvantaged members of the society. And truly the notes should be made, the new notes should be made, taking that into effect. Mr. Speaker, I wish to make a comment that I heard somebody dwell into regarding that this new note would come at the kind of make any old notes illegal. I want to say this. This is a substantive issue that should be looked. If we want to fight corruption and we want to come and declare like India that we are having new notes and anybody with the old notes take them to the bank and within 1 month, and if you don't take, they are as better as making fire. Now, I think that should be brought into this house. And that's the kind of law we need, Mr. Speaker. Because, you know, we are just haggling around, fighting corruption, and very little effective thing is happening. We are acquiring nothing of the stolen thing, you know, and the people go, they get boards in the cells. They are even given maybe special treatment. It is a good game. That's what we are doing. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, let's make currencies which are, friendly to our disadvantage. And thanks to Madam Maura, who has lived to the cause fighting for the less disadvantaged. Thank you.
Other senators. Honorable senators, pursuant to Standing Order 232, paragraph 1, the petition stands committed to the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget. In terms of Standing Order 232, paragraph 2, the committee is required in not more than 60 days and I mean 60 calendar days, from the time of reading the prayer to respond to the petitioner by way of a report addressed to the petitioner and laid on the table of the Senate. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
We have papers to be laid. Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th October 2018. Report of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission on National Ethics and Corruption Survey 2017. I thank you.
Chairperson, Standing Committee on Energy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, Tuesday, 16th, 2018. Report on the Standing Committee on Energy on the Energy Bill. National Assembly Bill number 50 of 2017.
Next order.
When I read. Order number 6, notices of motion.
Notice of motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That this House adopts the report of the Standing Committee on Energy on the Energy Bill, National Assembly Bill number 50 of 2017. Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Senator Kasanga. Senator Kasanga, she's not present. We therefore drop the statement. Next order. Sorry, we have under order of statement pursuant to Standing Order number 48, 1, Senator Mwaruma. The statement is therefore deferred to next week. Next order.
Order number 8, the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 28 of 2018, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to give effect to Articles 96(1) and 3 of the Constitution to enhance public financial accountability by the county governments and for connected purposes.
Honorable Senators, as indicated before by the Chair, order number 9 is therefore deferred. Next order. So? Number 10. Defer number 10? Just read.
Order number 10, the County Wards Development Equalization Fund Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2018, second reading.
Senator Kangata Irungu. Honorable Senators, I therefore defer order number 10 to next week. Next order. Proceed, Senator Wetangula.
Mr. Speaker, I get concerned. It's not enough to read out an order and then the Speaker directs that it's deferred. We need to be told, where are the senators responsible for these orders? Because, Mr. Speaker, our duty, our primary duty is to this House and not anything else. And when an order appears on the order paper as an item for debate, whoever is responsible for that item has a duty, fundamental duty, to be in this House to prosecute their motions, their bills, their questions, their statements, or whatever. So, Mr. Speaker, it should not just be routine that the Speaker, when he sees the senator who sponsored the item is not here, is just deferred as a matter of course. That way, Mr. Speaker, we're just going to distort the image of the House and distort the business of the House.
All the senators, I think the responsibility of business, as in the order paper, is with the senator who is sponsoring the motion, statement, or a bill. And it's not the responsibility of the Speaker to make sure that members are available here. We therefore proceed to the next order. Continue, Senator Wetangula.
Mr. Speaker, the responsibility of the chair, I know and appreciate, is not to ensure members are in the House. That is the duty of the whips. However, Mr. Speaker, it is the responsibility of the Speaker to rule out of order and in fact issue notices to show cause to members who sponsor business, put on the order paper, and don't show up without any explanation of any nature. Some of us, Mr. Speaker, have left our offices to come here to make contributions to these motions and these bills. And we get here and nothing takes off. I think the chair has a duty to direct, Mr. Speaker, that such members must furnish to the Speaker in writing explanations as to their whereabouts when they were expected to be in this House.
Honorable Senators, Senator Wetangula, your concerns are noted. We urge the majority leader and the leader of minority to make sure that members whose orders appear on the order paper are present in the House while such order papers are read. We have already ruled about that. Proceed to the next order. Honorable Senators, therefore, for the convenience of the House, I therefore proceed to defer order number 11, order number 12, order number 13, order number 14. Next order.
Order number 15, the Prevention of Terrorism Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2018, second reading.
Senator Naomi Wakojilo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm here to move the amendment bill Prevention of Terrorism Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the amendment bill, Prevention of Terrorism Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 20 of 2018. Second reading. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the amendment bill, the amendment is very important.
Order, Senator. You need to properly move the bill as in the order paper.
I beg to move the Prevention of Terrorism Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 20 of 2018, second reading. Be read a second time. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the amendment bill is important because it addresses a nationwide headache that we can comfortably say it troubles the entire country. This bill seeks to insert a new clause after Section D of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. And this particular clause is very important because it adds value to the act. As we all know, violent extremism is not like normal crime as it has an element of social problem, which must be dealt with by communities before it graduates to terrorism. The formulation of county-specific program to counter radicalization will ensure dealing with students at a personal level, thus ensure addressing of their fears and concerns. There is need to create forums for communities to engage in the conversation on countering violent extremism and develop relevant strategies that speaks to their context. The County Education Board, the institution administrator, the security team under the county commissioner, and all concerned parties need to work together to win this war on radicalization of youth, to help in counter-terrorism, violent extremism, and preachers, community-based organization, village elders, and family members must all be involved. There are thousands of youth recruited into Al-Shabaab every year. The Al-Shabaab are targeting mostly university and secondary students, both male and female. Areas that are most affected by recruitment of Al-Shabaab are northeastern and coastal regions, upper eastern region, some areas in Nairobi slum, e.g. Majengo, Nyanza, Western Kenya regions have also become fertile regions for recruitment. This is mainly because of the unemployment in our country. The clause also has a section insisting on standardized curriculum to be taught. Religious Education Council should come up with a unified curriculum aimed at standardizing religious education in the county. The standardized curriculum will help in demystifying the fear that religious centers are breeding areas for radicalization, thus boosts confidence for state agencies to forge great working relationship with religious leaders. Once the curriculum is in place, qualified persons should be tasked to carry out quality assurance and monitor the delivery standard. There is need for students in the country to go through lessons that will prepare them both psychologically and socially for the dangers that faces them and regarding radicalization. The bill under Section 12F also emphasizes the need for the institutional staff to undergo training so that they are able to recognize vulnerable students who can easily be drawn into radicalization. Another important aspect mentioned in this amendment is the collaboration of the state offices with other stakeholders to design appropriate amnesty programs and regulations to cater for students who turn back from radicalization. Mr. Speaker, we all know that our young people who have been recruited, once they come back, they are faced with a lot of challenges because of the stigma they go through. And that is why the bill is mainly concerned with the young people in our country so that we can prevent from the early stage to the time our youth and anybody who is recruited can be taken care of. A socio-economic and demographic survey of Kenyans returnees conducted by SUPKEM, Government of Kenya through the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government and the International Organization for Migration, done in 2014 in the coastal region, revealed there were 700 returnees from Somalia. Mr. Speaker, there is dire need to devise a strategy to integrate such individuals to the society without them being discriminated against, and at the same time protect them from the terrorist cells operating in the different counties, not to be targeted as traitors. This can only be achieved by teamwork and developing good work relationship with the security agencies. The security team in particular need to create an enabling environment for communities to engage them and benefit through human intelligence necessary for such complex undertaking presented by terrorism. There is need for rehabilitation centers to be established in all the counties for the returnees.
About the curriculum is taught in all schools. We are talking about, Mr. Speaker, sir, having the necessary checks in schools, collaborating in the agency collaboration, which is necessary for this type of thing. Mr. Speaker, sir, why I particularly like this amendment brought by my namesake is also the fact that for those who have been lured to go away, even when they want to come back, they fear that they'll be victimized when they come back. And that, therefore, makes it very, very difficult for us to deal with terrorism. Because if they fear that they'll be dealt with when they come back as terrorists, then they might as well be terrorists and come back and carry out their terrorist acts. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm glad that this particular bill provides for catering for students who turn back from radicalization. In other words, rather than punishing them, and their punishment can mean being shot on sight, being tried, being put in custody, imprisonment for many, many, many years, and therefore losing your life on this earth. By the time you come out, you are just too old. Instead of having that approach, I'm glad that the approach of this bill is that many of these students should actually be rehabilitated. Rehabilitation, Speaker, sir, is the word. And therefore, the provisions of clause 12E, 1F on rehabilitation is a clause that I fully support and that should be used so that our youths are also given a second chance. We normally say as Christians, our God is a God of a second chance. If you do one mistake, you are forgiven and you are given a second chance to become a useful member of the society. So this bill, I can see, wants to give our youths who have been radicalized a second chance to become useful members of our society. So, with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I do support this bill fully, and I hope that it will be implemented faithfully. As we are talking now, I know in Nanyuki right now, there's a very big conference going on counter-terrorism, a regional conference involving very many countries and so on. And I hope that this will be one of the issues that they can take on board to say that, let us now give it another approach, because the way of dealing with terrorism, as terrorism mutates into something else, we should also, in our proposals to counter terrorism, also mutate and have more machinery, innovative machinery to deal with those issues. With those few remarks, I support.
Thank you, Senator Pareno.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support this bill by my sister, Senator Wako, with a Q, and specifically an amendment to the Prevention of Terrorism bill, which to me, Mr. Speaker, seeks to bring in an aspect, a very important aspect that was left out when the terrorism bill was crafted. Mr. Speaker, I say this because if at the time we were doing the parent bill original bill was being done, it did not come to the mind of those that were crafting that bill that we need to deal with this problem of terrorism right from the very young and tender ages, teaching them about how to handle these issues that arise out of terrorism and how to behave. Mr. Speaker, then that was a very big oversight. That was a real gap that was left in the drafting of this bill. I say this, Mr. Speaker, because if we look at the people who have been involved in most of these, even the suicide bombings, even the acts of terrorism that we have seen in this country, you will find that a lot of them are young people. And if we want to root out a problem, then I think it should start with the teachings, good teachings, imparting good knowledge to our young people. And this bill has therefore come in to fill into that gap, to ensure that there is education right from the beginning. Because this is a major problem, and with education is power. It will empower the people as they grow up. It will shape their character. It will shape their humanity. It will shape the whole being of a human being, Mr. Speaker. So I strongly believe that we are all here because of our education. And we are all serving in different capacities because of our education. I believe if we amend this bill to bring in this aspect of teaching right from the onset, putting it in the curriculum that we must teach our children how to behave, how to be good citizens, how to not get involved in that which harms society, then, Mr. Speaker, I think we will be going the right direction by putting in this amendment, Mr. Speaker. Having looked at the bill, it seeks to create programs that actually will counter this radicalization. Radicalization, the way I understand it, by the time you radicalize somebody, you must have taught this somebody something over and over and over. I think we can undo that by teaching good over and over and over. So these programs that this bill seeks to introduce for teachings in our schools and our education boards being involved in these teachings, and alongside with the police coming up with the relevant programs, Mr. Speaker, I think this will help us. Mr. Speaker, even as I was thinking, I was wondering what happened to the extracurricular activities that we used to get involved in while in primary. I think we are overburdening our children. We have not given them that room to develop in the manner that is good for society. It is said that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. How much activities are we putting into our children in terms of even just giving them extra activities that they can do? How much have we looked into in terms of poverty? I have seen in this bill that it is provided that we shall create interventions that should help us minimize or should help us divert the attention of the youth from radicalization. And what came to my mind, Mr. Speaker, on these interventions is, are we going to create employment? I always remember the Jubilee government saying that they will have created, I don't know how many jobs in wartime. And yet, up to now, we have not even gotten those jobs that they promised. How much are we going to do to ensure that we have job opportunities? Because one of the reasons they have given for radicalization is because they are idle, they are jobless, they have to look for something to do, they have to look for a living, and they think there is greener pastures wherever they are promised. Mr. Speaker, I don't know whether other people have heard or other members have heard a video that was circulating in social media where somebody alleged to be a young man was crying, saying that I was taken to Somalia, I am here, I am limbless because there was a bomb that was blown and I don't have legs, and I'm crying, please get me out of here. I am a Kenyan, and I was told that I was coming to get a job, and I reached out to a teacher called so and so, and they were giving names in that video that was circulating, saying that I came here because I thought it was a job. And now there is no job. I found that I am a recruit for terrorism activities, and I am now limbless, and I'm left in the camp, and I need you people. Whoever has heard this video, please come for me. I don't know whether you have heard that video. It was circulating some time back. And this is a child crying desperately, if it is true, saying that I was hoodwinked and I thought there was a job out there. So most of our people, our youths, are going out there because they think there is a job. They actually are conned into believing that they are going to be given a job. So to be lured in the first place, you are lured because you are jobless. To be lured in the first place, you are lured because you're in your mind, you don't have work to do and you're idle. To be lured is because you're not thinking about your education because of your character. So we need to go back and reverse all this. And I think introducing teaching in our schools will help to reverse and to ensure that we get the right breed of Kenyans, that even if somebody had not gotten a job, we will have changed their character and improved on our livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, I have also noted that in this bill, it is proposing that we even have a background check of those that are teaching our children. If we are vetting cabinet secretaries, if we are vetting everybody else, how comes several times we have been told that we have ended up having somebody with fake papers purporting to be a teacher, then you don't even know the background of that person. Then others are hiding, pretending that they are imparting religious information or knowledge to the children, and they're actually radicalizing them. We are not checking enough on the background of those that are imparting this information to our children. So this bill seeks to bring a background check that will ensure that those that are going to teach our children are people whose background we have counter-checked, so that at the end of the day we don't create harm. And I believe, Mr. Speaker, that this should even be done even in the churches, because we have been told some of this radicalization has been done behind the churches. Somebody sits, pretends this is a preacher, and at the end of the day, he's operating a devil's workshop. We should be able to create vetting mechanisms of all teachings, both those that are teaching in schools, those that are teaching in churches, those that are teaching in whatever institution, so that at the end of the day, we don't have the wrong information going to our children. And not even having those ones who have fake papers, having their field day to pretend that they are teachers, if somebody can actually forge and give fake papers and credentials, that person can do anything. He can pretend to be somebody else that he's not, and are dangerous to our children, and are therefore of questionable character, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue of poverty, I hope as we create interventions as proposed by this bill, has to be tackled. If we don't tackle poverty, then we will continue over and over to have the same problems, Mr. Speaker. And of course, because our youth sometimes are a bit idle, we need to watch out for these extracurricular activities. I see a lot of leagues. I see the governors coming up with a governor's cup, senator's cup. Let us ensure that our children are busy at all times. And I see this bill proposes that parents also take responsibility, because a teacher cannot be the only person to have responsibility of their children. It brings out that parental touch. And I know a lot of parents are so busy, we are all so busy, but I think if we came out strongly to see how our children are behaving and monitor them, it will help out. Mr. Speaker, this bill proposes that immediately you notice that a child has a problem or a child is missing, then you should report. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this bill says we report to the Inspector General of Police. Surely, a person in the village cannot report to the Inspector General of Police. It should be to the nearest body, to the nearest police station, to the nearest chief, to the nearest village elder. Let us make it that simple. If you say every time, if this bill is so specific that you report to the Inspector General of Police, our villagers will not be able to report to the Inspector General of Police. It should be, let us amend it to include the nearest authority, because you can intervene very fast by reporting to the nearest authority than for you saying that let us report to the OCS who is so far away from the village, yet these things happen around our schools in the villages, and to reach out to the highest authority will not be easy. So I am proposing, Mr. Speaker, that as the committee considers this bill, let us consider the appropriate nearest authorities for purposes of reporting if a child is missing, or if there is something that needs to be reported about the activities of our children when it comes to radicalization. Maybe we should even broaden it, not just the police. Let us go to the village elder. Let us go to today we had an issue, we had a discussion with the Nyumba Kumi initiative, and we had Mr. Joseph Kaguthi with us this morning as security committee. And they are saying that we now have these small groups everywhere in the villages, the Nyumba Kumis. And there is a head of each Nyumba Kumi. And these heads of Nyumba Kumi know each other. They know the Nyumba Kumi, the 10 people per group know each other. So if you allow these people to report to the head of that Nyumba Kumi, or report to, if there is a structure to be reported that is lower, then that will help us upscale what we want, and to say we report to the highest body, like the IG, who should be the last resort. We should have intervened by the time the IG knows that something is happening in the village. The chief by that time would have acted. The Nyumba Kumi head should have acted. The nearest police station head should have acted. The children officer, please do not leave out the children officer. The children officer should be known by all children, should be known by the people near, the people affected in the area, that there is a children officer who is supposed to protect the children when there is trouble. So, and they can actually even run to that office for rescue and for purposes of being helped. It is also good, Mr. Speaker, on this one, because we had a discussion this morning with this Nyumba Kumi, and they said we even have call centers, control room, where we can call and say something is happening. Maybe that is an aspect that we need to include in this bill. Because this control room where you can report right from the village, and they gave us a number, 22068, something like that. And they said, you're supposed to call this number when there is trouble anywhere. Where does it come where does it come in this bill? Can we have these numbers, 911, 999, and then those additional ones of that control room, so that when there is trouble anywhere, when a child is missing, when you notice that there is some terrorist activity happening, you are able to report very fast. So I think we should also borrow a few of these, ideas from that Nyumba Kumi initiative and other security initiatives to ensure that at the end of the day, this bill tightens up what we really want in terms of how to immediately rescue a child that is involved, or how to immediately stop a child that is about to be involved in terrorism activities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is the issue of radicalization having been caused, or there is a feeling that this radicalization has come up because some people are agitated about the political situation. They feel marginalized by the politics of the day, and they feel that they can radically just do certain things, Mr. Speaker. And I think I'm just praying that in this building bridges initiative, this peace initiative that is coming to this country will come to bring up a balanced society that does not have to make people feel marginalized in any way. They want to even think of a radical measure to handle the situation. You know, when people are pushed too much to the corner, when you push a dog right to the corner, it will, however cowardly it will be, at one point it will fight back. And I think there is a time in this society that people have come to an extent of feeling that they are so desperate, they have been pushed so far until they cannot be pushed anymore. I think we should look forward to this Building Bridges initiative. Look forward to a better Kenya where we are all nobody is marginalized, either because you're few in number, or because of religion, or because of anything else. You know, Mr.
I think as a country, again, we need to invest a lot in research to really understand what are the causes of radicalization in our country. As Senator Pareno has said, people suspect maybe poverty could be one of the aspects that is driving people in radicalization and also terrorism. As a country, can we be able to invest and also invest in causes of radicalization? For example, because people are talking of marginalization. What about Western? What about maybe, for example, Northern Kenya? So we need to carry out research to really understand what are the causes of radicalization in our country so that we can be able to prevent terrorism or radicalization. Finally, Mr. Speaker, without taking a lot of time, issues of putting mechanisms in place to detect terrorism. For example, police, what do they have to have in place for them to check somebody is radicalized? Do we have enough equipment? Do we have courts that are competent? Do we have judiciary that is competent to be able to address the issues of radicalization? And I think all these past aspects are really important. Maybe I would request in finality, Senator Wako, who is sponsor of this bill, to be able to look widely at what she needs to introduce, or maybe bring, what will assist her to bring amendment to this particular bill, because I know it's the first bill on radicalization and prevention of terrorism that has come to the Senate, because this will be able to address most of the challenges faced by various counties and also various parents, and also as a country to be able to deal with the issues of radicalization. The Nyumba Kumi Senator Pareno talked about, we met the committee this morning, but clearly the Nyumba Kumi should have really helped the issues of radicalization and terrorism, because the 10 houses together in the Nyumba Kumi, they will really understand or maybe get to know who are the strangers within those villages. But today, if you walk into a village, for example, where I come from, people will not be able to know who is a stranger and who is not a stranger. And as a country, we have the Nyumba Kumi in place, but unfortunately we don't have funding. Where we have established an institution that will help us in such circumstances, they don't have funding. So we keep on actually creating institutions without really putting them in addressing the proper objectives that they are supposed to address. Mr. Speaker, terrorism is a dangerous and a very serious problem in our country that we really need to deal with and protect our citizens and also our children as a country. I thank you and I support the bill.
Senator Moses Wetangula. Senator Stewart Manzayo. Senator Abshiro Alaki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support this bill and congratulate Senator Naomi Wako for bringing this bill. This bill is very important because of the fact that it's creating awareness, Mr. Speaker. Of late, we probably have relegated the whole issue around terrorism and extreme violence and radicalization as if it has gone away. And so I'm glad that this bill is going to create a conversation around something so important yet so neglected, because this is a problem, and this problem has and continues to be with us. And for a while now, I think we have sort of relegated it to the back burner. Mr. Speaker, just allow me to define radicalization. The reason being, radicalization as it stands is some of the determinants that sort of feeds into extreme violence and terrorism. The English dictionary defines radicalization as a process by which an individual or a group comes to adopt increasingly extreme political, social, or religious ideals and aspirations that reject or undermine the status quo or undermine contemporary ideas and expressions of the nation. Mr. Speaker, I think it's important that we understand what are some of the determinants or what are some of the drivers of terrorism for us then to be able to deal with terrorism and for us to be able to then prevent it. Mr. Speaker, in many parts of the world where they have identified extreme violence or radicalization as drivers of terrorism, that is the key underlying factor that we as a nation should be looking to, because that is what then drives terrorism, and therefore by dealing with radicalization and countering extreme violence is the only way we can deal with that. Mr. Speaker, a lot has been said about what causes and what have you. The Principal Act, unfortunately I haven't read the Principal Act. What I have is just the amendment bills that Senator Wako has so ably brought to us. But basically, the process, I think one of the things that we need to understand is that prevention of terrorism cannot be just done by one institution. And so I commend Senator Wako for looking at different institutions and assigning roles and responsibilities in this amendment, looking at responsibilities for duties and responsibilities for institutions and the administrators, for parents and guardians, and procedures for perhaps reporting and finding missing youth and the rest of it. But that said, there's a process of the entire radicalization process that perhaps we also need to create conversations and perhaps also look at in this process. What are some of the signs of somebody who is being radicalized? What is the common thread that goes, that runs across some of the already radicalized people? Where do they go, for instance? But again, because this cannot be just one agency that can deal with this. I know there's mention by senators about Nyumba Kumi and about policemen, about schools and the rest of it, but some of the issues around this multi-agency approach is the fact that these agencies have different structures, they have different goals, they have different agendas. How do they then work together? And that continues to pose a problem. So I know in parts, perhaps the most important thing is information sharing. What are some of the ways in which these multi-agencies can share information? How can the school share information? How can perhaps, police share information? How can, religious institutions share information? So again, I think we need to look at some of these determinants and drivers of terrorism and radicalization for us then to be able to create awareness. Because again, I don't think at home or anywhere I've ever heard or have ever even talked to my children about these things. But now the more we interact with these bills and the more we think about prevention, the more I'm wondering, perhaps this is something that we need to be in the public domain, that needs to be talked about, that needs to be trained. We need, as parents and as teachers and as educators, to be trained on what the signs are. What is the process to this? Because there's a process to it. Now, I have had occasion to actually sit in some dialogues with youth that, as part of sort of a counter extreme violence prevention. And one thread that has come through, at least for me as I dealt with this in a different space, is that victimization and humiliation that then makes people want to sort of act or do something about. And this narrative around victimization and humiliation and it's different for different people. University students once told me, oh, I was just studying for my exams, but because I was up late and I'm of a certain profile, they thought I'm terrorist. Others have different things. So again, the narrative around humiliation and victimization that then makes some people go to extreme thoughts and extreme actions is different for everybody. But how as parents can we identify and what can we do about these kinds of things would be a good thing. But then the problem is the vicious cycle, especially with regards to our policemen, who I think also need perhaps training in terms of just what the signs are, what the drivers of this thing is. The vicious cycle that is created is the one where the brutality, for instance, or the extrajudicial killings create the cycle of humiliation and victimization. And then it goes round and round. Because I know Senator Faki has very ably, in very good Swahili, explained how, the killings that have happened in the past under the guise of countering terrorism. But these kinds of things then sort of fuel the vicious cycle of humiliation and of the feelings of victimization that then feeds into the extreme thoughts and radicalization. So we need to look at all these things with regards to training, not just our policemen, but also ourselves as parents and our educators. The other thing, and I've seen this happening in different parts of the world, is community policing. Of course, our definition of community policing is perhaps that Nyumba Kumi initiative, but community policing has worked for a lot of places, but it's with very defined programs and very defined, very defined structures that have information sharing, because what does somebody that is in Nyumba Kumi head or in Nyumba Kumi, where do they go with this information? How does it link to different agencies that look after these things? So I think this is very good bill. It does, unfortunately, I don't have the principal bill which this bill seeks to amend. Perhaps some of these things are there, but that said, I'm happy with the amendments that are being introduced in this, and these amendments definitely do have a multi-pronged approach and a multi-agency principle to it, and I hope that in the principal bill or in the principal act that all these issues of awareness, of creating of information sharing, and the new thing around social media and use of analytics and use of data to counter these things is also looked at least in the primary bill. And if that doesn't, in the principal bill exist, if perhaps Senator Wako could consider looking as part of the prevention also the new approaches that are internet-driven, the data-driven. Perhaps I know right now people like Google and Facebook and YouTube watch very closely for any content that may be from maybe radical groups and they may stop that. But if perhaps then part of these amendments look at also the new ways in which information flows, be it social media, be it the internet and the rest of things, because right now that could also be an area because most kids these days, you find teenagers, and this is the age, Mr. Speaker, at which people are very impressionable, between 12 to 20 years, where you're really trying to find yourself, you're grappling with a lot of things, identity issues, you're grappling with perhaps issues around not just finding yourself, but finding your livelihood, trying to see if you could amount to something or not, and then maybe a radical group comes with a solution for you to all the problems that are sort of the particles that are going round in your head. So again, at that impressionable age then is where we need to catch this in good time. And where do the 12 to 20-year-olds go? They go on the internet. That is their primary communication tool. So I'm hoping that the primary bill does have provisions for these approaches, but if it doesn't, I would ask my sister, Senator Naomi, to look at also these kinds of ways in which prevention can go also to the new ways in which people communicate, including social and new media, so to speak. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, it's Madam Speaker now, right? Madam Speaker, I beg to support this and look forward to the implementation of this, because some of us, depending on the profile that you bear, tend to bear the brunt of these things. And I know Senator Amos Wako did mention, a profile of people that look very normal or very natural or very, I forget, I didn't put that down. So again, the profiles are they exist. And therefore, it's in our interest for some of us that perhaps know this firsthand as something that we need to work together with Senator to ensure that all the loopholes with regards to prevention, with regards to monitoring, with regards to new media, and with regards to just finally making sure that our youth are well mentored and their energy and their restlessness is channeled to the right places. Madam Speaker, one last one before I sit down is that it's very, very difficult for anybody that has been radicalized to actually be de-radicalized. It's very difficult. Not finding jobs, but most of the things that can be done is perhaps they may have their radical views, but not have the opportunity to convert that to actions that would hurt them or others. So again, that is why prevention is key, and I look forward to the implementation of this bill to enhance and make the principal bill more robust and more useful. I thank you and I support.
Mambo ya ujangili au kwa lugha nyingine ugaidi, na kuifanya iwe mwafaka zaidi. Pia ningependelea kumuunga mkono na kumpa hongera Bi Seneta mteule Naomi Wako. Tunajua Wako wengi wanasema ni ile K, lakini nilipokuja this time mara ya pili nikiingia katika Senate nilijua kumbe Wako kuna wale pia wako na alama ya Q. Kwa hiyo amefanya juhudi sana, na nataka kumpa hongera kwa sababu ya kuleta mdahalo ama hoja kama hii, ili tuifanyie mageuzi na kuipiga pasi zaidi iweze kufaa jamii wa Kikenya. Mr. Speaker, si jambo jipya
kuona watu wetu wakiwa rahisi sana kuingia kwa mambo kama haya ama vyama vya ujangili ili kuletea binadamu shida. Na tunajua ujangili ama ugaidi si Kenya peke yake. Shida ya ugaidi ni ulimwengu mzima. Lakini hasa tukikaza mkazo hapa nyumbani, tumeona kwamba vijana wetu wengi wameweza kuwa rahisi sana kujiunga na haya mambo ya ugaidi. Haya yote, Mr. Speaker, yanaletwa kwa sababu ya ukosefu wa kazi, ukosefu wa utendaji shughuli fulani fulani. Wengi wakisoma, wakifika kiasi fulani wanawacha masomo. Wengi wakisoma, wakati wakisoma hata wakiwa watu wako university, vyuo vikuu, pia unapata kwamba wale ambao wanaweza kuwafikia hawa wanafunzi wanaweza kuwachukua na wakatia katika vyama vyao vya ugaidi. Kuanzia primary ama kuanzia shule za msingi kuja mpaka vyuo vikuu, tunaona ya kwamba imekuwa ni urahisi, Mr. Speaker, vijana wetu kuingizwa katika hali hii. Hiyo ni kwa sababu gani? Hiyo ni kwa sababu pia serikali imeweza kuchangia hali hii. Tungeweza kuzingatia kama jamii ya Kikenya, na serikali yetu ingeweza kuzingatia hasa kwa upande wa vijana wa kike na wa kiume. Manake katika ujangili ama ugaidi tumeona haswa zaidi wavulana wetu, wasichana wetu, wote wakiwa watoto, wakiwa watu wazima, wameweza kuhusishwa katika mambo haya na kuingia katika vile vyama vya kufanya mambo ya ujangili. Lakini haya yote ni kwa sababu serikali yetu inatakana kutengeza vitu kama polytechnic, vitu kama skuli za kujifundisha kabla mtu pengine hajaenda, ametoka skuli amemaliza na ana haja ya kupata kibarua aweze kuenda pale. Na tunaona hata polytechnic, Mr. Speaker, zimekuwa ghali. Zimekuwa wananchi ambao hawafanyi kazi, kina mama zetu ambao hawafanyi kazi, wanategemea kulima vipande katika mashamba ya watu wengine ili wapate mambo ya kupata chakula na kulisha watoto. Sasa imebidi wapeleke watoto wao pengine katika shule kama hizi za polytechnic huko vijijini. Na imekuwa ni hiyo hali ni duni. Kwa hiyo serikali inatakana iende mpaka chini ikiwa tutaweza kupitia miswada ambapo serikali yenyewe itasema ya kwamba wakati huu kama watoto wetu wako wametoka, kama ni Al-Shabaab wamekimbia, ama wakati huu kama kuna watoto wetu wote ambao katika magrupu haya makubwa, kama ni magrupu ya Chinkororo, ni magrupu ya Amne, ni magrupu ya MRC, ni magrupu ya Jeshi la Mzee, ni magrupu sijui ya vitu gani, yote haya tuna declare amnesty. Kama vile tunakuwa na Kenyatta Day, kuwe na amnesty ya kwamba mtu yote ambaye amesema amefanya ubaya anataka kusamehewa. Iwe hapa katika mambo ya kutoa mambo ya terrorism, hii mambo ya ujangili ama ya ugaidi, apewe nafasi, Mr. Speaker, aweze pia kuwa mmoja wa wale wa Kenya ambao hivi sasa watasema tumejisafisha. Vile ambavyo Wakristo wanasema sasa nimeokoka, sitafanya dhambi tena, dhambi yangu nimeweka mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa hiyo watu kama hawa pia we have to include, lazima pole Mr. Speaker kwa kutumia lugha ya Kimombo, lakini ni watu kama hawa pia ni lazima pia nao tuweze kuangalia ni kipengele gani tunaweza kusema wakati fulani ukifika katika mwaka tunaweza kusema mtu yoyote hata kama umefanya nini, ukijitokeza kwa nia safi, utachunguzwa vizuri, utaangaliwa tabia, utatunzwa katika mikono ya serikali na hautapelekwa mahali ya kwamba utaadhibiwa, ila utaambiwa rudi tena kwa jamii, uwe mmoja wao, na kama akipata nafasi hata kama ni ya kazi, ni ya nini, aweze kuingia ndani. Hii yote tunasema ni kwamba Wakenya tuko hapa pamoja. Ikiwa nchi hii itaharibika, sote sisi tutaharibikiwa. Wakenya wa tabaka zote. Na hali tukiangalia mambo ya ugaidi. Mambo ya ugaidi, Speaker, si mambo ambayo tunaweza sema ni ya Waislamu. Si mambo tunaweza sema ni ya Wakristo. Si mambo tunaweza sema pengine ni ya watu ambao hawana dini. Ugaidi ni kila mtu. Mkristo, tumeona vijana wetu wakiwa Wakristo, tumeona vijana wetu wakiwa Waislamu, tumeona vijana wetu ambao pia hawana dini, tumeona vijana wetu wa tabaka mbalimbali ambao ni wa Kenya, lakini wamejiunga na mambo haya ya ugaidi katika vyama hivi vyote nilivyosema hapo awali. Kwa hiyo jukumu kama hilo lingebebwa katika mabega ya serikali na kuona ya kwamba kipengele kama hichi namba 12A kimeweza kuwekewa muafaka zaidi na kuzidishiwa na kusema ya kwamba baada ya masomo kama haya kupewa, watu hawa waweze serikali kutangaza kama tumewapatia imani ya kurudi na kujumuika na Wakenya wote, na wasichukuliwe kama ni watu ambao wako na ugonjwa ule wa ukoma, ya kwamba ukitoka Al-Shabaab, ukitoka MRC, ukitoka wapi, ukishtakiwa, ukitoka hakuna kazi, hawezi kupata kazi. Unabaki sasa, unabaki kama mayatima. Kama siwezi kupata kazi, si nitarudi kule nilitoka. Kwa hiyo kwa sisi kama Wakenya tukiwa tuko hapa kupunguza mambo kama haya, ni lazima tuzingatie kwamba serikali nayo iweze kujikakamua vilivyo na kutengeza kipengele kama hichi. Sisi tukiwa hapa tukitengeza kipengele kama hichi, kuona kwamba serikali input yao imekuwa ni kwamba watekeleze wajibu wao wanaotakana na Wakenya. Asante Speaker. Mimi ninaunga mkono.
Asante Senator. Senator Wario Kolich Juma.
Asante Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi hii ili kuweza kuchangia hoja na sheria iliyoletwa mbele ya nyumba hii na dadangu Seneta mtaule Naomi Wako. Speaker, ujangili na ugaidi hasa imekuwa ni tisho kubwa katika nchi ya Kenya. Kwa hakika Bibi Speaker, ugaidi ambayo imekuwa janga kubwa ya nchi hii ya Kenya iliwahi kuonekana mahali nyingi katika nchi hii, hasa nikiweza kukumbusha nyumba hii wakati chuo kikuu cha Garissa kilipovamiwa, na hasa wale waliohusika walikuwa vijana wa chuo kikuu ambayo walitekeleza maafa hayo. Basi inaonekana sisi kama Waafrika, hasa sisi watu wa Kenya, tumepoteza uadilifu ya jamii kama jamii ya Kiafrika. Ugaidi hasa wakiwa katika vitengo mbalimbali ni jambo ambayo ni lazima sisi kama jamii tuanze kupigana nayo kabla haijafikia katika serikali ya kaunti ama serikali ya kitaifa. Sisi wenyewe kama jamii ambao tunaishi katika vijiji na katika sehemu mbalimbali ya Kenya tuweze kugandamiza na tuweze kutangaza na tuweze kuwaambia wale watu wanaohusika na ugaidi kuwa ugaidi haufai. Speaker, hakika masomo ya kuweza kugandamiza ugaidi yahitajika kusomeshwa katika shule zetu, hasa kuanzia shule ile ya chini kabisa mpaka chuo kikuu, ili watu wanapoenda shuleni waweze kujua ugaidi ni kitu kibaya. Bi Speaker, seneta aliyetangulia mbele yangu, Seneta Mazayo, alisema ugaidi hasa unaletwa na ukosefu wa ajira. Na ni kweli kabisa, wale vijana ambao wanakosa ajira na wanaobaki majumbani wanakosa jambo la kufanya, wanaingilia mambo ya ulevi na hatimaye wanaingia katika ugaidi, kwa sababu wale wanaoendeleza ugaidi wanawaambia watawalipa mapato mazuri, kwa hivyo wanajiingiza pande hiyo. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu letu katika serikali ya kaunti na serikali ya kitaifa tuweze kupatia majukumu vijana wetu, hasa wale waliosoma, waweze kupata vibarua ili wasiweze kuingiliana na ugaidi. Bi Speaker, jamii iliyostaarabika na ambayo inataka kuendelea mbele, ugaidi inawaregesha nyuma sana. Tukienda ambao wa pwani pande hiyo, Bi Speaker, kuna mambo waga yanafanyika, na hayo maneno ni maneno ya kuvunja moyo sana. Wakati wa kushambulia wagaidi, hasa tumewahi kuona jamii fulani imewezwa kukimbizwa sana katika vita hii, na hasa sehemu ya misikiti pia ya Waislamu katika Mombasa kuweza kuvamiwa na askari, na hasa kuweza kuhusisha jamii, hasa katika jamii ya Kiislamu ambayo sisi tunajua mugaidi ni mugaidi na wala haiambatani na dini kivivyote vile. Bi Speaker, kama watu fulani wataambiwa wao ndio wagaidi, wanaweza kuwa sugu kama jamii ya Kiislamu, lakini sisi tunajua ya kwamba jamii hiyo si wagaidi, na hasa sehemu zao za kusalia kama misikiti na nini yote, polisi huko pande ya Mombasa wanavuruga hapa na pale, na sisi tungesema hali hiyo haiwezi ikafanya kukomesha ugaidi, kwa sababu wagaidi hawako katika dini yoyote, ni watu wametoka katika dini, ni watu wako na laana, kwa sababu huwezi ukawa unaua watu na ukajiita Muislamu, kwa sababu wewe utakuwa unaharibu jina nzuri ya Kiislamu, kwa sababu Qurani inakuambia mwenye kutoa ruhu ni Mungu pekee, na hiyo si kazi yako, na yule ambaye amejiingiza katika hali ile yuko katika hali ya kuharibu jina watu wa dini hiyo. Kwa hivyo, Bi Speaker, sisi ni vyema kabisa tuungane mkono, hasa kuanzia vijijini, jamii wakiwa wanaishi, tuweze kuangalia, na isiwe jukumu ya serikali peke yake, kwa sababu serikali peke yake haiwezi ikafaulu katika vita dhidi ya ugaidi, kwa sababu wagaidi wanaishi miongoni mwa jamii, wanaishi katika vijiji, wanaishi katika miji mikubwa ya nchi hii. Kwa hivyo iwe ni jukumu ya Wanakenya wote kuweza kuangalia na kujua ni nani gaidi na ni vipi tutapigana na ugaidi. Bi Speaker, Mimi ninachukua fursa hii kuunga mkono hoja ambayo imeletwa na Seneta Naomi Wako ya kuweka sheria ya kupigana vita dhidi ya ugaidi, ujangili, ujambazi ambayo imekuwa ni janga kubwa katika nchi hii yetu. Asante kwa kunipatia nafasi.
Thank you, Senator. Now, there being no other member wishing to contribute, I would like to ask the mover to reply.
Madam Speaker, I stand to reply. And from the onset, I want to take this opportunity to thank my fellow senators for coming up very fast and supporting the amendment bill. I want to say a very special thank you to Senator Faki, who seconded the amendment bill. I also want to say thank you to Senator Wako Senior, my namesake. I also want to say thank you to Senator Pareno, who passionately contributed, Senator Dulo, Senator Abshiro, Senator Mazzayo, and Senator Wario. Madam Speaker, from the members' contribution, you could clearly see that this is a problem which is affecting every part of our nation. When Senator Faki seconded the amendment bill, he was able to narrate the problem and the challenges that they have gone through in his own county, the dilemma the young people go through every day, and especially the disappearance of young people, the pain the parents go through. And as we went on and debated, the members were able to bring out passionately the issues that, have been affecting us as a nation and the need for this amendment. Madam Speaker, when I dreamt of this bill, I considered the many parents who live in the pain of identifying themselves with their sons and daughters who have already been radicalized, who have already disappeared, and the parents who do not even know where their children are. I come from Marsabit, which is northern part of Kenya, and some of our young people have disappeared without any trace. And the pain the parents go through is so much, such that you wonder how you can help them. And once again, they are able to maybe come back, because that normally does not happen. But in case that happens and they end up, coming back, the parents themselves cannot even identify with their sons and their daughters. It is a very painful experience. And the bill, this bill on prevention of terrorism, will fill the gap that has been there. Madam Speaker, as Kenyans, we all know that we have created a huge gap between ourselves as parents and the students and our children. We have left the responsibility of, discipline and other things to the teachers, and the teachers have also, left to us because we have put measures in place that the teachers should not discipline our children. And so in between, our boys and girls suffer, they influence each other, and by the time they get to the age of 14, 15, they are already radicalized, and we are unable to bring them back to the society. Madam Speaker, the issue of poverty as one of the causes has been highlighted by all the honorable senators. Senator Pareno was able to speak on that, and many of our senators touched on that. Poverty and the hope of receiving a lot of money on the other side gives the young people who are idle a bit of hope, and they do not consider the risk that is in that. The bill, Madam Speaker, touches on the responsibility of parents, as I said, and the parents need to be more closer to their children. All the senators who have spoken have also touched on that, and we will enhance. We will see how the relationship between the parents and the children can be enhanced in order for us to take care of the existing gap. Madam Speaker, there is something that came out clearly. When it comes to reporting the matter, the issue of us reporting to the Inspector General or the police inspector, I think, as Senator Pareno said, there is need for us to see how we can get closer to the community and maybe to the chief, to the police, nearest police, or even a village elder. I have taken note of that, and we will consider that with the relevant team and see how we can bring it back. Training of the teachers is very important, and many people have touched on that. Senator Dulo passionately spoke about empowering the teachers and also capacity building of the students who have disappeared, the rehabilitation of the students, and how we can even build them or grow them economically, creating jobs for them, which I know is sensitive and it's not that easy, but where there is a will, there is a way, and I'm sure we will be able to do something. Another very important aspect that came out is budgetary allocation, which I think, again, Senator Dulo brought out, that we need to have a budget to support the entire thing and also see how the young people can be empowered economically. That's a good thing, which we have not taught before, but I think with the time now and with this wisdom that we have received from this honorable house, we will be able to bring it out. There is also something that came out on security agencies, the young people who are in remand, the mistreatment they go through, the many years they spend in the remand, and the need to empower even our security agencies to train them on how to, in a friendly manner, deal with the individuals is a very important thing. Madam Speaker, we know very well that when anybody goes to any cell or it gets into the hand of the policeman, people prepare themselves for much mistreatment. But when we empower them and when we give them relevant training on how they can deal with people and how they can apply friendly measures, that I'm sure will be able to help us. There is also need for research to be done, which is very important. As a nation, I think we have neglected some of our responsibilities. We know how much radicalization has affected this country, but one thing maybe which we have not done is research to show us where we are, how it started, and how maybe we can get out of this. We will do these recommendations and also see how this can be done. There is also another suggestion on mechanism to be put in place to detect radicalization. Investing in mechanism or institutions is very important at this particular time. When Senator Wako spoke, he said radicalization is not as it was before. He said that it has moved and now it is modernized. It is current. And I believe it is more complex than when it began. And for that reason, Kenya as a country needs to, pull up. We need to pull up our socks. We need to seriously think of how best we can handle this and see how this nation can be helped. Minus which, as a nation, we will lose our young people, and we will lose many of our young people, and we will also suffer because of the challenge that poses. Madam Speaker, a lot has to be said or needs to be said again, but because of time now, pursuant to Standing Order 61(3), I request you to defer putting the question to a later date. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. It's true that the bill is concerning county governments in terms of Article 110, 1A of the Constitution. So I order that we defer the voting till tomorrow, Wednesday 17:10, for the convenience of the House. Next order.
Order number 16, the Copyright Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 33 of 2017. Second reading.
Honorable Senators, after consultation, we defer Order 16, Order 17, Order 18, and Order 19. Again, for the convenience of the House. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 20, the Petition to County Assemblies Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 22 of 2018, second reading.
Senator Pareno.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to move that the Petition to County Assembly Procedure Bill 2018 be read a second time. And Madam Speaker, I want to say that this is a bill that is is arising from the provision of the Constitution of Kenya, and is therefore well entrenched and founded on that Constitution and the principles that are in this Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, our Constitution has brought forth lots of principles, some of which really put the citizens puts them first in everything that we do. And Madam Speaker, one of these is on the issue of public participation by the citizens, the sovereignty of the people in public participation. So it is the people first, then the republic, then everybody else follows, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, because of this, the Constitution has brought forth a lot of articles that keep repeating how we must involve the citizenry in every decision, in the processes of decision-making, in governance, and even in the laws that we pass. So, Madam Speaker, you realize that this bill is just coming up to ensure that these people are in the center of everything, as dictated by this Constitution, and to ensure that they are consulted, and to ensure that the decisions that are made by the county assemblies is involving and has the people at heart. Madam Speaker, Article 1 of the Constitution of Kenya categorically declares that all the sovereign power belongs to the people of the Republic of Kenya. Then if you look at Article 10, it says participation under Article 10, participation of the people in governance is one of the national values and a principle that must be adhered to. And actually, it goes ahead to say that it binds all state organs, state officers, and public officers. So in everything a state organ does, in everything a public officer does, in every decision of governance, the people have been put at the center of it, and the public participation must be realized. Madam Speaker, Article 174, also under that article, the participation of the people in the exercise of the powers of the state and in making decisions affecting them is one of the objects and the principles again. So you can see how our Constitution, Article 1, Article 10, Article 174, it even goes ahead at Article 196 to say that the Constitution enjoins every county assembly to, among others, facilitate public participation and involvement in the legislative and other business of the assembly and its committees. It even dictates at 196 that the county assemblies must ensure that the people are participating in the legislation that they make and in the business of the entire assembly, and even goes ahead to say, and in the committees, Madam Speaker. So this bill, therefore, comes to bring into life as a mechanism, one of the mechanisms through which these people can participate is through petition. So this bill is bringing in a procedure through which the people can relate to the county assemblies. Currently, Madam Speaker, as we speak, there is a procedure in the National Assembly, but there is no procedure in the county assemblies. Madam Speaker, I'm sure even you, because you've presented petitions and statements before this House, and I am sure you have come across our citizenry. Just in the streets, they call you and they tell you, oh, Madam Pareno, we have a petition. And they give you just a paper. They tell you, we have this problem. Sometimes we even tell them, please go back and put it into a petition. And you try to tell them how to put it into a petition. And at the end of the day, there is no procedure. It is like you meet a legislator and you tell them, this is, I want to do this. And you end up knowing that that person wants to do a petition. So, Madam Speaker, this bill intends to bring up an orderly manner to do things, a manner through which petitions can be presented to the county assembly. And Madam Speaker, having put the public participation as a core principle in our Constitution and in our business, these people can therefore communicate to Parliament through petitions, but in an orderly manner. They can communicate to any other body, but in an orderly manner. And they can communicate to the county assembly. So we are now providing for the county assemblies because other bodies probably have other ways through which the petitions can be presented to them, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, further at Article 37, the Constitution still goes further to say that it is actually a fundamental right for a citizen to present a petition. So you can imagine all these provisions, more than 5 provisions of the Constitution, emphasizing on how we must allow the people to be able to communicate to us, to be able to participate in decision making, and one of them is by way of petitions, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you know that when a petition is presented, like we do in the Senate here, this petition is processed, and then there is a way these people are summoned, they are heard, a decision is made, and it is communicated to them. Madam Speaker, if we didn't have that linkage between us and the people, then how would they communicate to us? How will they relate to us? How will we even know their problems, Madam Speaker? So for us to be able to speak on their behalf, for us to be able to, or the county assemblies to be able, because we are providing for the county assemblies, to be able to speak to the people, to be able to have that linkage, then this particular bill is one such tool that will allow for the linkages and will allow for the proper communication by the people to the county assemblies, Madam Speaker. And they'll be able to pick up the grievances, and they will even be able to direct on how these grievances will be dealt with. So it's a direct link. It provides a direct link for purposes of communication. Madam Speaker, this bill also, apart from providing for the procedures, it will also have made us relevant as a Senate. This Senate is here to protect the county assemblies. This Senate is here to protect the interests of the people that live in these assemblies and the counties, because we are here to protect the counties. Madam Speaker, how many questions have we, if we were to receive as many petitions as we are receiving, how many questions have we most of the time raised because they arise from the same petitions? In fact, it gives us a lot of business to receive these petitions. So similarly to the county assemblies, by receiving petitions, they'll have work, they will have the concerns of the people, they'll have heard them, they'll have sorted them out and given them a way forward, they'll have raised questions, they'll have raised statements, they'll have raised motions out of those petitions and grievances that the people. So actually, petitions are one way for us to realize our mandate, because we'll be able to sort out the issues of the counties and the procedures that through which the people can bring their problems to the county assemblies. Madam Speaker, the provision that provides for the processes indicates as follows. It gives guidance as to how a citizen may bring the issues forth to the assembly. It guides them not to go overboard. It guides them on a simple but effective way to be able to communicate to the county assemblies. And it actually provides for what are the parameters for the exercise of this right, to whom should the petition be submitted, what content is admissible and inadmissible. You know, we cannot allow petitions that probably are out to malign, that are malicious, that may cause some conflict. So the content in its form will be checked, whether admissible or inadmissible, and it will guide the citizens when they are presenting this petition. They'll be guided that these are the contents that we expect in a petition. It must be in a civil language, and it must be in this form. Then it also provides what should be expected that a county assembly will do with the petition, so that when they present, then they know that after we present, this is the next steps that we expect from a county assembly, so that they don't just give a petition, they go home, and they don't know the way forward. This bill seeks to give them that information, so that then they know how to access the information that they are seeking for, or how their problem has been addressed. And also, this also helps them to know from when do they expect a feedback, so that when they present a petition, then they know that from this time we would have expected, from maybe 60 days, would have expected that there is a feedback to us, so that then it doesn't become an exercise in vain. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill comes out to enable us to have proper guidance as to how to receive and process petitions, and also to process that right, to ensure that we observe and respect the right of the citizens to give petitions and to access information and to be able to question what we do. Madam Speaker, you know, when a petition is presented like we have done in the Senate, at the end of the day, there is some sort of recommendation. There is some sort of resolution to the problem. So at the end of the day, we have a way in which we can enforce what we have petitioned for. Because most of the times you will have a recommendation in that, as to what the petition is asking for, and that recommendation is actually enforceable. It can be followed, it can be traced. And there is a way you will receive these petitions. There is a register for it. So there is no discrimination, there is no haphazard way of handling them. There is a register. It is addressed to the clerk, it is addressed to the county assembly. And when it is addressed, then you'll be able to track it, that it was received, it was processed, we are waiting for these days, and after these days, we will get a feedback. And when you get that feedback, you will go down to that feedback and check what the recommendation is. And if that recommendation has not been met, it will be easier to track and check that it is enforceable. So this is a better way to handle these grievances by the citizens, to hear their cries, and at the end of the day, they'll be satisfied with, they will have been served, because we are here as servants of the people, and the county assemblies are there as servants of the people, and when they serve them and give them this enforceability, resolutions that are enforceable, then they will feel happy, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have a precedent. So this is not something that is so unique. The National Assembly, there is the Petition to Parliament Procedure Act number 22 of 2012 by the National Assembly. So this is just devolving some of these services and some of these precedents that can help us to serve better. So if this is adopted, then it will mean the county assemblies will also have a way of doing it like the National Assembly has, Madam Speaker. Then the bill, Madam Speaker, at clause 3, as read with first schedule, provides for the form of the petition. So there is the form that will be guiding them, so that we don't get letters left, right, and center that are not in the proper form. This is a simple form which is easy to understand. It has guidelines which provide clarity to the public on how to lodge a petition in a manner that clearly sets out the objectives of a petition and the action requested to be taken by the county assembly. So you can imagine if you get a form that just clearly tells you state and what do you require, and you're able to fill it up. Clause 4 provides the procedure for presenting petitions. This clause is important because it outlines the procedure to be followed by the county assembly and sets the timelines for communication of a decision on the petition. These are what I had actually just earlier on said. So it gives the guidelines, and it sets a time limit. Clause 5 provides for a register of petitions at the county assembly. This will ensure that the proper tracking of petitions, enhancing the public's right to access to information. So they'll have information, and they will be able to track how the petition is being processed. The bill, therefore, seeks to bring a harmonized and uniform way of procedure to handle these petitions all over in the county assemblies. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, this bill will not only have sorted out the county assembly procedures, but it will also have helped us to realize and effect the right of the citizens to participate, the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. They are able to to participate in the decision-making processes, and they are able to participate by putting these petitions forth and being heard, and of course getting answers to their petitions. Madam Speaker, I therefore beg to move, and I ask Senator Madzayo to second this bill.
Thank you, Senator Madzayo.
Asante sana Bi Speaker kwa kunipatia nafasi hii, na ningependa pia kumsecond ama kumuunga mkono Bi Judith Pareno, Senator mteule, katika bill hii ambayo ameileta, ambayo ni bill ya lalamiko au mwito wa wakati mtu akiwa anataka kuja ndani ya bunge atakuja namna gani. Speaker, nikiunga mkono nataka kusema ya kwamba bunge la 11 tulipolianza mwaka wa 2013 hakukuwa na sheria kama hii za kaunti kupewa nafasi ya kuweza kujua ni njia gani wanaweza kukubali malalamiko ama tamko la mtu binafsi ambalo analo haja kulinganishana na sheria zetu za Kenya, ya kwamba Mkenya yote anaweza kuleta lalamiko lake ama tamko lake ndani ya bunge na likasikizwa. Hii lilikuwa limeleta sintofahamu nyingi hadi ya kwamba ma-MCA wetu katika serikali za ugatuzi walikuwa sheria zinaambatana mara nyingi zinaweza kwamba haziwezi kusikizana, na tulikuwa na hiyo shida katika lile bunge la 11. Lakini hivi sasa nimeona ya kwamba nimezingatia hii bill ambayo inaletwa na dada Judith Pareno, na nimeona ya kwamba ni sheria ambayo itatusaidia katika hizi harakati zetu za kuweza kusikiza malalamiko kutoka kwa wananchi vile yanavyokuja katika bunge na vile vile katika serikali zetu zote 47 za ugatuzi ambazo ni serikali za mashinani. Bi Speaker, nimetafakari zaidi sana juu ya hii bill, na la umuhimu zaidi ni kwamba tulikuwa na petitions tulizozipata wakati wa bunge la 11, ikiwemo lalamiko kubwa sana la aliyeko hivi sasa katika mamlaka ya ugavana Mwangi wa Iria katika Murang'a, kutoka county ya Murang'a, na vile vile tulipata lalamiko kama hilo hilo kwa mtawala gavana wa Embu County. Speaker, kwa sababu ya upungufu wa sheria fulani waliweza kutumia vipengele fulani vya sheria na katiba na wakaweza kufaulu. Senate ikawa haina mamlaka yoyote isipokuwa kuangalia tu, na hawa watu wakaendelea kuwa ofisi, japokuwa Senate yenyewe ilipitisha sheria ya kuwaachisha kazi, lakini haikuwezekana kwa sababu ilibidi waende katika mahakama kuu na wakaweza kuzuia mapendekezo ya sheria zile ambazo zilikuwa ziko na upungufu, haswa kuweza kukubaliana na pendekezo ama lalamiko la wananchi ama la mtu binafsi linalotoka katika mashinani. Kwa hiyo sheria hii ambayo hivi sasa tumeiweka ama tunataka kuiweka ama iko katika zile harakati za kuiweka, ni sheria ambayo itaweza kuweka mwangaza, ni sheria ambazo itaweza kuleta njia mwafaka ya kwamba ikiwa kuna mtu anahitaji ya kuleta malalamishi yake katika serikali za mashinani, basi iko njia anaweza kufata kama mwananchi, na alafu atapewa fursa ile yeye kuja na kuweza kutetea ile. haswa zaidi tumeona hapa tunaweza kuweka lalamiko hili kwa lugha ya Kiswahili ama lugha ya Kiingereza. Mimi ningependelea kwa maoni yangu kwamba tupee kipaumbele katika malalamiko kama haya, kwa sababu wengi ambao wanakuwa na malalamiko kama haya ni watu wako katika mashinani, na katika mashinani tunajua wote walioko huko, baadhi yao wanaweza kuwa wanajua Kiswahili ama wanasikia Kiswahili. Sasa mimi nikiambiwa nyanyangu aandike petition yake hata akiwa alikuwa hataki, alafu aambiwe aandike Kizungu ama Kimombo, haitawezekana. Kwa hiyo mimi nafikiria jambo kama hili tungesisitiza zaidi, ya kwamba kama serikali za mashinani kiwa wanaweza kutumia Kiswahili ili watu wa kule mashinani waweze kuelewa zaidi, ingekuwa ubora zaidi. Pia vile vile, Speaker, nimeangalia katika kipengele cha 5 kinachosema ya kwamba kipengele cha sheria ya 4 katika hii bill ambayo tunaitazama, sheria katika kipengele cha 4, sheria ya 1, ya 2, ya 3, ya 4 na ya 5, inayosema lalamiko lolote haliwezi kutupiliwa mbali ama na katibu wa ile serikali ya mashinani. Nasema hivyo kwa sababu gani? Mara nyingi kumekuwa na upungufu wa watu kutoelewa, aidha katika lile lalamiko, ama yule katibu asipolielewa vizuri anaweza kutumia sheria vibaya na kusema kwamba hii haikuandikwa vibaya, kwa hivyo mimi ninaona ya kwamba sitaikubali. Makatibu sasa wamewekwa katika mwangaza ya kwamba hawawezi kukataza lalamiko kwa sababu halikuletwa kiusawa au kisheria, bora tu liwe kwamba ni lalamiko. Tusije tukampa mamlaka katibu ambaye baada ya kuliangalia akilipeleka kwa spika linakuwa amelichora pale ya kwamba haliwezi kubaliwa kwa sababu hili limekuja kinyume cha sheria ama namna hii. Bora likiwa ni lalamiko, lakini hata likiwa limetumwa kwa mtu, kwa county assembly, ama limetumwa kwa speaker, ama limetumwa kwa clerk, liwe litachukuliwa kama vile ni lalamiko. Kwa hiyo kipengele kama hichi kinazuia pia utumiaji wa mamlaka vibaya katika serikali za mashinani. Tumekuja kuona ya kwamba wakati mwingi sheria zinatumiwa vibaya, na haswa katika serikali za mashinani. Kwa hiyo tunasema ya kwamba sheria kama hii itaweza kuweka mwelekeo ama kuweka mwangaza kisawasawa kisheria, ili kuonekana ya kwamba kila mtu ambaye analo jukumu kama katibu ama clerk asiweze kutumia sheria hii kukataza lalamiko ama petition ya mtu ameleta katika county assembly ama katika serikali ya mashinani, na kusema kwamba mimi nilikuwa na lalamiko hili, na aambiwe kwamba sheria hiyo umeleta vibaya, kwa hiyo hatutakubaliana nalo. Hiyo mimi nilikuwa nasema ni agizo, ni sheria ambayo tumeweka na itaweza kutunza hivyo hivyo. Pia vile vile maagizo ya vile watu wanaweza kuja pamoja na kuongea juu ya lalamiko lile. Mimi pia nimeona sheria kama hii itakuwa vizuri, kwa sababu mara nyingi watu wanakatazwa nafasi za kuongea, haswa katika mashinani, wakati wowote ikiwa wana lalamiko lao. Kwa hiyo tunasema ya kwamba sheria ambayo tunaweka hivi sasa, ambayo itaweza kusaidia serikali za mashinani kuhusikana na malalamishi ya wananchi yanapokuja, ni kwamba wao wasiwe na uwezo wa kuweza kuzulia mtu yoyote akiwa na lalamiko lolote kulileta kwetu ama kulileta kwa assembly, na hatimaye assembly kulileta kwetu sisi hapa kama Senate, sisi tukiwa kama baba yao ama sisi tukiwa kama waangalizi maalum kama bunge la Senate wanaoangalia maslahi ya serikali za mashinani. Mimi nataka kuunga mkono zaidi na kumpatia hongera Bi Judith Pareno, ambaye yeye na mimi sote sisi ni kama wahamiaji na hama pale na pale, lakini hao ni baadhi ya mengine tukitafakari. Mimi nataka kuunga mkono sheria hii ambayo inaweza kuangalia majukumu ya petition ambazo zitakuwa zinaenda katika county assemblies. Asante Bi Speaker, asante sana. Naunga mkono.
Thank you, Senator. I now propose the question that the petition to county assemblies procedure bill, Senate bills number 22 of 2018, be read a second time. Senator Wako Naomi, you will get 5 minutes and you may proceed. If we adjourn before you finish.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to stand and support this petition to County Assembly Procedure Bill, and also congratulate Senator Pareno for coming up with this. Madam Speaker, the Bible says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. If we are not ready to pass knowledge to empower others, then chances are that people don't know what they are doing and they will not be able to play their role very well. What Senator Pareno has done is to give guidance to the county assemblies so that one can clearly know what step to take. As I was going through the bill, I realized that she has put into consideration the issue of time. From the time they receive, the clerk shall, within 7 days of the date of the receipt of the petition, review the petition to ascertain whether the petition meets the requirements specified under Section 3. Madam Speaker, this is very important because there is no time wasted and gives a lot of confidence even to the petitioner. When you know very well that there is some guidance and time will not be wasted in any way, then that really helps. And as I was going through the bill, I clearly saw that it has put into consideration even the concerns of the petitioner. Like number 5, a petition shall not be rejected merely because it is not addressed to the clerk of a county assembly. This, Madam Speaker, gives a lot of confidence to the petitioner because by the time you do the petition, some people are worried, they don't know what will happen next, but even if they make that mistake, then they know that their petition will not be thrown away as long as it meets the other requirements. Then as you go on, you realize that it is also forwarded to the Speaker within time and the proper action is taken. What has also excited me is under item 4A, invite the petitioner to clarify or submit such further information as the committee may consider necessary. This is very important because there is a big difference in putting down something on paper and also coming to clarify on different areas and issues. When one is invited, you are given the opportunity to confirm what you have written down. You are given the opportunity also to give input, maybe to what you have already put down, and the petitioner will be excited to appear before the committee, defend himself or herself, and also clarify the areas that need clarification. And B, under that, Madam Speaker, is on public hearing. These days, the issue of public hearing is very important in our Kenya today because it gives everybody the opportunity. And by allowing others to come and participate, then you have already clearly demonstrated to people that what you are doing or what you are just about to do is the right thing. And everybody will feel or will have the freedom to express or say what they want and give their own input. If it is not relevant, people will also be given the opportunity to clearly
you have a balance of 15 minutes, which you can take up tomorrow. Honorable Senators, it is now 6:30 p.m. Time to interrupt the business of the House. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, the 17th October 2018 at 2:30 p.m.